ABC's Megan Williams in Rome says that is a tall order.
Europe is accusing Italy of not doing enough to make sure every person that is rescued from a boat in the Mediterranean is fully identified. Last week, Europe announced it was opening proceedings against Italy for failing to fingerprint migrants upon arrival.
Impronte digitali vengono registrate.
But Italy's interior minister says his country should be thanked, not threatened, for saving hundreds of thousands of people. Most rescued people want to head north to Germany or Sweden and be identified there, where they make their refugee claim. Megan Williams, ABC News, Rome.
Ed Sheeran is taking a break from phones, emails, and social media, saying he's been finding himself seeing the world through a screen instead of his own eyes. And now he plans to travel the world to see what he's been missing. He has told fans he'll be back online in the autumn, but if he follows other celebrity trends, he'll be back in a week or two. Karen Chase, ABC News.
Local news is brought to you by Shelton Health and Rehabilitation Center. Find them online at sheltonhealthandrehab.com.
You're listening to KMAS News Radio. I'm Marilyn Foster. A man was fatally shot by the Thurston County Sheriff's SWAT team Sunday night after he allegedly stabbed his cousin, then took his 3-year-old daughter hostage. Deputies were called just after 5:30 p.m. to a residence near Lacey on a report of a stabbing. Deputies arrived and were met by a 27-year-old male who had multiple stab wounds. The victim was conscious and was able to tell deputies that he was assaulted by his cousin, who was still in the residence. The SWAT and hostage negotiation team were called out. At approximately 8:35 p.m., the suspect was shot once by a SWAT marksman due to the immediate concern for the daughter's safety. The child was not injured. The stabbing victim is being treated at Harborview Medical Center. Growth. That is the future economic forecast for the region from a recent expo that brought together decision makers and community leaders from all sectors of business and industry in the region. The recent Regional Economic Forecast and Innovation Expo included representation from Grays Harbor, Lewis, Mason, Pacific, and Thurston counties. Mason County EDC Chair Lynn Longan was there and told Daybreak that even though the area has suffered some significant job losses, there is some growth potential because of Sierra Pacific. She said there are companies that have contracts with them who are looking to relocate here because they want to be closer to Sierra Pacific. How do citizens feel about the economy around Shelton and Mason County? According to Lynn Longan, the outlook is good. The Mason County EDC recently did a consumer confidence survey. It was paid for by Pac Mountain Workforce Development Council. While the majority of those surveyed agreed that the labor conditions right now are bad, there were plenty of good signs from the survey.
St. Martin's College and some volunteers made phone calls to people in town, and they asked them questions like, how likely are you to buy a house, or do you think it's a good idea? 53% said it's a good time to buy a house right now. 37% say they're going to buy major appliances. 31% said it's a good time to buy a new car. Family income in 6 months, 53% are neutral and 26% think that it's going to get better and that it's good.
It's the first time the county has done a survey like this, and they'll continue to do them so that there will be year-to-year comparisons in the future. See the full interview with Lynn on the Daybreak page at KMAS.com. Tonight is the final Republican presidential debate of the year. Both the main debate and an earlier undercard debate featuring 4 lower polling candidates will air live here. Donald Trump continues to lead the way in national polls, but is being closely trailed by Texas Senator Ted Cruz. Listen to our live broadcast on KMAS AM 1030, FM 103.3, or online at KMAS.com. I'm Mary Lynn Foster, your local news at AM 1030 and FM 103.3, and always on KMAS.com.
Tune in all season long to NFL Insider on Westwood One. Hi, this is Mark Malone. Join me each week as we whip around the league and break down the NFL. We'll hear from today's stars and yesterday's heroes as James Lofton sits down with a fellow member of the Hall of Fame. We'll also check in with former greats Rod Woodson and Donovan McNabb to help us break down all the latest NFL news. That's NFL Insider right here.
Sunday morning at 6:30 on KMAS.
Hi, I'm Ken Slater, the Roof Doctor. If you're like me, your family's important, so make sure that they're well taken care of. One of the best ways to do that is to provide a safe and warm home to live in. For over 50 years, the Roof Doctor has been helping families stay safe and warm by building roofs that last for generations. Our teams have some of the most experienced roofers in the area, and we only use the highest quality materials to keep your family safe, warm, and dry. That's the Roof Doctor. Give us a call.
13 to shoot. Looking for Griffin. Can't find him. 11 to shoot. Finally gets it to him at the foul circle. He's doubled. The open player on the right wing is Crawford for three in the lead. Oh, he did it! 105-102. Sweet string music here in Motown.
Brian Seaman had the call on KFWB in Los Angeles. The Clippers held off the Pistons 105-103. Elsewhere, the San Antonio Spurs dominated the Utah Jazz 118-81. The Memphis Grizzlies beat the Washington Wizards 112-95. Dallas, Miami, Denver, Orlando, and Indianapolis also won. The Philadelphia 76ers did not win Monday. They fell to a league worst 1-25 after a 19-point loss to the Chicago Bulls. On Monday, Major League Baseball Commissioner Rob Manfred decided not to reinstate all-time hits leader Pete Rose. Rose was banned for life in 1989 for gambling on games. On the ice, the Sabres beat the Red Wings 2-1. The Lightning defeated Columbus by the same score. Washington thrashed Pittsburgh 4-1. Ottawa beat LA 5-3, and the Oilers outlasted the Bruins 3-2 in overtime. Dave Packer, ABC Sports.
For Newsradio 1030 KMAS Shelton, FM 103.3, and we are streaming audio and video this morning live. Excuse me, and in color. I think I'm alive. KMAS.com. Is your hair okay?
Oh, it does not.
It looks a little lopsided from the screen view, but hi, how are you, everybody? Portland Trail Blazers beat the New Orleans Pelicans. Aren't they the Pelicans now?
They are today.
I like it when they were the New Orleans Jazz. But they can't be the Jazz now because there's the Utah Jazz.
Were they? So the Utah, they came from Utah. No, they came from New Orleans.
Came from New Orleans.
They went to Utah.
Yeah.
Where there's no Jazz.
Right. There's no Jazz in Utah.
And then what were they? Oh, the
New Orleans.
The Hornets?
I think so. And they went to Charlotte.
Oh.
Now they're the Pelicans.
I remember those guys.
Whoever they are, they got beat by the Trail Blazers, or are they the Jailbreakers? Wait a minute. 105-101 last night. Guess who scored 30 points? Damian Lillard.
Wow.
So he just keeps on keeping on. And that's the 7th straight time that Portland's beaten the Pelicans. They got their number, as it were. Domantas Sabonis, 21 points, 13 rebounds. Kyle Wiltshire, 18 points, 11 boards. Gonzaga beat Division II St. Martin's. Yes, the St. Martins that you all know and love. Last night after dropping out of the Associated Press Top 25 poll earlier this week for the first time since back in the 2013-14 season, 2 years ago. Let's see. He making his first start for Gonzaga, Brian Alberts, a freshman, replacing the struggling Silas Melson. 14 points, 4 of 5 shooting from three-point range, and Gonzaga moves to 7-3.
Wow.
On the season. 3 losses now before WCC playoffs. Unusual for a Gonzaga team, but again, emphasizing they've got a boatload of freshmen and sophomores on their team and redshirt freshmen, and they have a lack of experience. And the only way to get that is to get out on the floor every night. So hopefully they'll be ready. There's a St. Mary's team and a Loyola Marymount team and a couple of Pepperdine. Some really good schools in the WCC all licking their chops and thinking maybe this is the year they can push Gonzaga over to the side and say, we are the champions.
Well, we'll see.
But we will see because that's why they play the game, Jeff.
Oh, well, they don't have as many as the professionals.
No, but they have plenty. Tomorrow night on KMAS.com, live video coverage of the Shelton boys basketball as the High Climbers take on Mount Tahoma in the Mini Dome. Jeff and myself will be there. We'll begin the stream just before 7, and you can find the video on KMAS.com or from our Facebook page, Facebook/1030.
Yep.
KMAS. Today, bowling at Westside Lanes as the High Climbers host Lincoln, 3 o'clock this afternoon.
Excuse me, but you just scared the hell out of me right there.
That was good, though. We were both PG on that one.
Yeah.
Could have not been.
Mount Tahoma comes to Shelton for some wrestling action this evening. So it's pretty exciting stuff. And that is
sports.
Time for weather. 31 degrees coming in this morning.
It was freezing, and it is freezing. 30, freezing fog. The high today, 44. 42 tomorrow with just a tenth of an inch of rain. Thursday, 1.5 inches of rain. What? Whoa.
You didn't see that coming, did you?
Did not see that coming yesterday.
Well.
1/2 inch coming up on Friday and into the weekend. Snow now next Thursday, Christmas Eve.
It's Daybreak with Jeff and Dale on KMAS News Radio. Join the guys as they talk with neighbors, newsmakers, and each other, getting your day off to the absolute best possible start in the history of mornings. Connect with Jeff and Dale through the KMAS listener line, by email or Facebook. Now, from the southernmost tide pool of Puget Sound, Daybreak with Jeff and Dale.
All right, good morning to you. Tuesday here at KMAS.
Now I'm looking there, but I'm supposed to be looking there.
Yeah, always look over there. So, yeah, looking at this forecast, the 10-day now goes through Thursday, December 24th, Christmas Eve, early in the morning. Early morning.
Perfect. So, a little white dusting of snow to make it romantical.
Yeah, as we move from Wednesday into Thursday, that's when we're likely to see any kind of snow, even down here.
We're going to do our show Christmas Eve here.
Oh, you're right. We did decide to do that.
Yeah.
And the snow goes from
sliding
5 to 11.
Jeez,
That's perfect timing. That'll be fun. 30 right now. Good morning. How you doing?
Good. How about you?
Good.
So there was some sleep in the Slakey house last night.
We slept last night. It was a rough couple nights. I had a great birthday. Stephanie had her birthday yesterday.
Yeah, quilt.
What did I get her? I bought her a game called Exploding Kittens.
Oh, no.
It's a card game.
Oh, okay.
I think based
I
off...
thought it was a graphics.
I don't know. I've never even heard of it. She found it on Amazon. She thinks that it's made by the same folks that do that Cards Against Humanity. You ever played that game?
No.
Oh, you would love that
Cards
game.
Against Humanity.
So basically, somebody draws a white card, and it's got from blank to blank. Okay, that's what it says. From line to line. And then you pull out 2 black cards.
All right.
And they're like, from, and then each of the black cards is bad. And it could be bad in any sorts of situations. And then you come up with the best sentence, the most sentence that you cannot say in public. And then you get points based on that. I'm trying to think of one off the top.
I would like that. Things you aren't supposed to say.
It's and so you kind of play the crowd because you're going off points. So you look at your audience, and then you go, okay, I know that this will get a point from this guy.
Oh, I got
this will, and it's oh man, there's funny.
Oh, we'll do that sometime.
I think we've got it at the house. You guys come over and we'll play.
Okay.
Cards Against Humanity. It's a fun one. Sweeping the nation.
You and I can stay up late enough to get Kaiser to bed.
It'd be like noon. It'd be a noon hanging out.
A daytime deal.
Yeah.
Okay. A day date.
So Exploding Kittens, and then Kaiser got her. She's got one of those Pandora bracelets. You seen those?
I have
Stephanie
not.
does. You know, it's a bracelet, and you put little charms on it.
Oh, yes, I have seen
they
that.
sell them all over the place.
Yeah. So a new little charm?
Yeah, and so it's got a heart. It says mom, and on the back it says birthstone.
Oh, okay. Very nice. Good. Very thoughtful, Kaiser.
I don't know how he knows how to do this.
Well, he's learned from the
one-touch
best.
shopping.
There's, there's the deal right there.
One-touch shopping.
All right, we have a couple of guests today that we want to share with you, let you know about, coming up shortly at 7:30. Shelton High School's NNDCC. Received some great news this week. The Navy has recommended that they be returned to an NJROTC school for next year.
Oh, that's
and
awesome.
That means the Climber Company that has been at SHS since 1977 will once again be financially supported by the Navy.
Oh, great.
Helen will bring a couple students in with her and a cadet. commanding officer and a cadet executive officer. So very exciting for them. That's the root of it all. That's the NJROTC, the National Junior Reserve Officer Training Corps.
Oh, that's what.
How about that?
Good job.
Or Naval Junior Reserve Officer Training.
Yeah, that could be it.
Yeah.
Huh. That's very big news for them.
It is. Yeah, and I love watching them in the parades.
It was so strange
they're so disciplined.
They had 50, 60 people, but I don't think they had that many actively involved, and that's what the Navy was looking at.
Right.
Also today, Pat Burke will be in, 8:15. Pat wants to talk about the recent press release and request to the county to address issues of abatement and jail space. We heard Pat on KMAS Local News last week from a county commission meeting. I believe the backstory here is that there are a lot of dilapidated and eyesore properties in Mason County, and to spruce things up, make things look nicer. What can we do about that? I believe it was him who suggested driving around and the cops take a picture of the yard. Do you remember that?
I do.
In the news, to take a picture of the yard and then show it to somebody. They're working on abatement issues in the city, and I think people want it to be expanded and the county to actually do something.
Well, that'll be an interesting conversation then, for sure.
Yeah.
Because it would be nice to. And then the jail space issue's been ongoing since...
forever. Yeah. Since it opened. Women of Note tonight, holiday concert at the Shelton High School Performing Arts Center yesterday. Dave Meiser sent me the link. He had his kids in Stagecraft 302 film the Navy Band.
Yes.
And he sent me the link.
Oh, wow.
I posted it on our Facebook page, so you can watch the Navy Band's performance.
Wow, cool.
Yeah,
very cool.
Pretty nice.
6:19, Tuesday.
GOP debate today, 2:00.
Yes, sir. 10 days out from Christmas Day. Good morning.
You're listening to Daybreak with Jeff and Dale on KMAS News Radio.
I'm Spiro Ditas with NFL Network Now on the Westwood One Radio Network. Week 14 closed out in South Beach, where the Giants edged out the Dolphins Monday night, 31-24. Odell Beckham Jr. was the star with 7 catches for 166 yards, including 2 touchdowns. His second and 84-yard score that put the Giants ahead, and that's all they needed for the W. The Giants stay in that 3-way tie for first place atop the NFC East. Other news around the NFL, the Bengals can breathe a sigh of relief. The team announcing Monday that Andy Dalton's broken thumb will not need surgery. As for a timetable for his return, head coach Marvin Lewis saying on Monday that they'll take it week by week. And Week 15 kicks off Thursday night with Jameis Winston trying to lead his Bucs into the postseason for the first time in 8 years. They'll travel to St. Louis to take on the Rams. You can catch the game at 8 p.m. Eastern Time only on NFL Network. This has been NFL Network Now on the Westwood One Radio Network.
After check into cash. The cash you need today is waiting for you at checkintocash.com. We make it quick and easy to get the money you need when you need it. Visit checkintocash.com today to apply for an online payday advance up to $700. It only takes 5 minutes to apply, and you can get extra cash in as little as 24 hours. Go to checkintocash.com to get started.
You're a small to mid-sized business with 300 to 3,000 employees. You face the same network security challenges as big businesses do, but can't support a big IT investment, leaving your doors open to advanced cyber threats. Barracuda next-generation firewalls provide all the core features of enterprise firewalls and UTMs, but without hidden costs and deployment hurdles, making owning a big business firewall no big deal for your SMB. Reclaim your network. Try a Barracuda next-gen firewall risk-free at barracuda.com/firewalls.
Welcome to McDonald's. May I take your order?
To begin, let me say I look forward to our brief encounter.
Me too.
The search for great value led me to you. When I mix and match, great value will be mine. And to that you say...
What would you like?
Yes! Now, don't just get value at McDonald's, own it. Get 2 of your favorite taste for just $5 on the new McPick 2 menu, like the sausage McMuffin with egg and a strawberry banana smoothie. Value is back at McDonald's. Own it. Prices and participation may vary. Price of single item posted on menu board. You answered all your emails by noon. Get a freshly prepared Egg McMuffin. Actually left work on time? Then get yourself a savory sausage McMuffin with egg. You saw the weirdest midnight movie. Well, get a delicious sausage burrito. With McDonald's all-day breakfast menu, you can get delectable breakfast tastes anytime. Egg McMuffin, hotcakes and sausage and more. It's time to start enjoying the breakfast you love whenever you want. Just listen to a radio commercial? Get some golden hash browns. McDonald's all-day breakfast menu varies by location.
Mason General Hospital and family of clinics leads the way with patient-centered care, improving the quality of care and focusing on the cost of health care while coordinating care, maximizing new technologies, and more efficient use of resources. Mason General's is transforming healthcare delivery. Coordinated care follows the patient's ongoing treatment, linking all their providers via the electronic medical record. With the patient at the center of the comprehensive and individualized health plan, the patient-provider partnership enables preventative, well-managed healthcare and better outcomes. Patient first at Mason General Hospital and family of clinics.
Mason General Hospital and family of clinics. Equal opportunity provider. Translation services provided.
Mason General and family of clinics.
Start your mornings live and local with Daybreak on KMAS Shelton. Join Jeff and Dale weekdays from 6 to 9 on AM 1030 or FM 1033.
Hi, this is Detective William Adam at the Mason County Sheriff's Office, and you're listening to Daybreak with Jeff and Dale on Newsradio KMAS.
It'd be so hard. I mean, all I would do is play the Gambler.
Today, all I'd play would be Willie Nelson.
Every day.
All you'd hear would be Frank Sinatra.
Yeah.
So, Dionne Warwick. I get into these jags where I'm just listening to one artist for like weeks at a time. Then I'm satiated. I don't want to hear them anymore. Then I move to a new artist.
We're getting ready to do a music switch here. No, we're just kidding. But talking about what we would do if we worked at a free flow music format.
Play whatever you want.
Play whatever you want. I would be so hard pressed to come up with stuff because I'd be like, oh, I want to hear this. And it would be the most random music.
I think all of us have the capacity to play a lot of different random.
Just random. It'd be like it'd be just the jack station, the ADD station.
Play whatever we want. But I mean, you can get into. I mean,
go deep.
I'm not opposed to Scottish.
No,
ballads or something.
Yeah, I'd have a whole day where there'd be like a drinking music. Why not?
Why not?
Sing-alongs. Saw a beautiful video before we get to the news. Dick Van Dyke is like 90.
Yeah, just had his 90th birthday, and he was live and animated and attending his own celebration. Yeah, go ahead.
They had a flash mob for him. So Stephanie was watching this video last night, and I love Mary Poppins. I love Dick Van Dyke and that whole deal. We were singing it all weekend long, and then she starts the video, and you can hear the people singing in the flash mob. So I go and I watch the video, and they don't ever show Van Dyke's face for the first 2.5 minutes of the film, and I'm a little concerned because he's 90.
Yeah.
But I think the thought was that he was the band leader, but he wasn't really leading. He was just watching.
Over a balcony.
And it was great. These people, and they all were dressed up, and they were singing all the songs, and you could kind of hear him singing a little. Well, anyways, fade, new shot. He's in the middle of the group, and then he busts out the "Let's Go Fly a Kite." And the whole crowd just goes singing with them. And it is the most amazing. I got to find the video. I'll put it on our Facebook page. Stephanie has to have it.
90 years old. And
he looks great. He sounds great.
Yeah. Sharp.
Oh, like as a tack.
And it's most amazing. And it's there's a great example of how attitude can carry the day. Here's a guy that's been upbeat his whole life. And he's had the same life's challenges that everybody experiences, sorrow and loss and, career challenges and, all those things that everybody has to deal with. But if you're upbeat and optimistic and love humor, and he's got a song in his heart, yeah, that's a testament to longevity right there.
It was such.
He does look like he's just having a blast, doesn't he?
He looks great. Looks the same, and they had
Pretty
all
much.
the little songs, and it was a really amazing video. I'll get this up there for sure. All right, what's happening around the Northwest, Dale?
Well, there's some Northwest headlines here. Acting administrator at a home. These are the stories you hate to hear, and I always immediately think this has probably been going on for generations, but because of the way we understand things now, it comes to light more often. But another sexual misconduct charge. This time, an administrator for a juvenile felony offender in Richland, charged with sexual misconduct with a male 18-year-old resident. According to reports, 38-year-old Mindy Stoker pleaded not guilty to sexual misconduct charges yesterday. Investigators say she had sex with the teen at the Twin Rivers Community Facility and that the two had sexual contact more than once. Again, I think this has been going on for a long time and doesn't happen often, but it happens, and now we know about it all the time. Oops. Well, that was disturbing. Oh, here
Judge,
we go. That's back.
Yeah, that's weird. Must be a screensaver.
Okay.
Here's another one for you. An
Yes.
interesting story, clerical story for you.
Huh?
Judge has awarded $8 million to the family of a woman who died in the Spokane County Jail. Spokesman Review reports that a judgment in favor of Jessica Alvarado's family was signed on the 2nd after the county did not file an answer to the lawsuit for nearly 3 months.
Wow.
Now, county officials say they didn't respond because of a clerical error, and state law says if the county can prove its error was inadvertent, the judge could set aside this judgment. But no answer from the county for 3 months.
It seems to me there would be repeated attempts to get a response.
Yeah.
Was there just one and done and they never responded, and so now we win by default, and then now it's being challenged?
Yeah, and I've heard cases too where, you file a lawsuit and you show up to court, but the other person doesn't get the lawsuit, like the paperwork,
right?
And they don't show up, and then they lose.
Yeah.
It was with a dog story that we had.
That happens a lot. Yeah.
You're listening to Daybreak with Jeff and Dale on KMAS News Radio.
Local news is brought to you by Fred Holmes Tree Service. FredHolmesTreeService.com, 427-4489.
You're listening to KMAS News Radio. I'm Marilyn Foster. A man was fatally shot by the Thurston County Sheriff's SWAT team Sunday night after he allegedly stabbed his cousin, then took his 3-year-old daughter hostage. Deputies were called just after 5:30 p.m. to a residence near Lacey on a report of a stabbing. Deputies arrived and were met by a 27-year-old male who had multiple stab wounds. The victim was conscious and was able to tell deputies that he was assaulted by his cousin, who was still in the residence. The SWAT and hostage negotiation team were called out. At approximately 8:35 p.m., the suspect was shot once by a SWAT marksman due to the immediate concern for the daughter's safety. The child was not injured. The stabbing victim is being treated at Harborview Medical Center. Growth. That is the future economic forecast for the region from a recent expo that brought together decision makers and community leaders from all sectors of business and industry in the region. The recent Regional Economic Forecast and Innovation Expo included representation from Grays Harbor, Lewis, Mason, Pacific, and Thurston counties. Mason County EDC Chair Lynn Longan was there and told Daybreak that even though the area has suffered some significant job losses, there is some growth potential because of Sierra Pacific. She said there are companies that have contracts with them who are looking to relocate here because they want to be closer to Sierra Pacific. How do citizens feel about the economy around Shelton and Mason County? According to Lynn Longan, the outlook is good. The Mason County EDC recently did a consumer confidence survey. It was paid for by Pack Mountain Workforce Development Council. While the majority of those surveyed agreed that the labor conditions right now are bad, there were plenty of good signs from the survey.
St. Martin's College and some volunteers made phone calls to people in town, and they asked them questions like, how likely are you to buy a house, or do you think it's a good idea? 53% said it's a good time to buy a house right now. 37% say they're going to buy major appliances. 31% said it's a good time to buy a new car. family income in 6 months, 53% are neutral and 26% think that it's going to get better and that it's good.
It's the first time the county has done a survey like this, and they'll continue to do them so that there will be year-to-year comparisons in the future. See the full interview with Lynn on the Daybreak page at KMAS.com. Tonight is the final Republican presidential debate of the year. Both the main debate and an earlier undercard debate featuring 4 lower polling candidates will air live here. Donald Trump continues to lead the way in national polls, but is being closely trailed by Texas Senator Ted Cruz. Listen to our live broadcast on KMAS AM 1030, FM 103.3, or online at KMAS.com. I'm Mary Lynn Foster, your local news at AM 1030 and FM 103.3, and always on KMAS.com.
Some other car dealers only worry about selling you cars, often crippling you with interest rates that are through the roof. Not Whitney Chevrolet. Our finance guy is an expert at getting the finance you need at surprisingly low interest rates. Recently, we got a young lady without any credit history who had been turned down at other dealers at an extremely low interest rate. Now that's a big deal. Check out our inventory at whitneychev.com, then come in and see us.
A $150 negotiable document fee may be added to the price of all vehicles.
Just down the road to Whitney.
Tune in all season long to NFL Insider on Westwood One. Hi, this is Mark Malone. Join me each week as we whip around the league and break down the NFL. We'll hear from today's stars and yesterday's heroes as James Lofton sits down with a fellow member of the Hall of Fame. We'll also check in with former greats Rod Woodson and Donovan McNabb to help us break down all the latest NFL news. That's NFL Insider right here.
Sunday morning at 6:30 on KMAS.
Yeah. For News Radio 1030 KMAS Shelton, FM 103.3 and KMAS.com. I'm Dale Hubbard, 634. On a Tuesday, Damian Lillard, 30 points. Portland Trailblazers beat New Orleans 105-101, 7th straight time that New Orleans has been beaten by Portland. And I don't know if that's a big deal or a little deal, or I don't have any idea. I suspect that New Orleans is not having a good season this year already.
Well,
just a suspicion on my part. Meanwhile, Portland's playing at playoff levels very, very early in the season right now, but they're winning, about twice as many games as they're losing, which is always good.
Yeah.
So they're hanging in there, doing pretty good, putting pieces together. And Gerald Henderson also contributing along with Damian Lillard for Portland's offensive output. Last night, over in Spokane, the St. Martin's team traveled to Spokane to the Kennel to take on the Gonzaga Bulldogs, and it was a bit of a mismatch. So the final score, do I have the final score? Let's see, 21 points for Sabonis, 13 rebounds. Kyle Wiltshire had 18 points, and it doesn't give the score here. So I don't know what the final score was.
In the Gonzaga game?
Yeah, against St. Martin's. But Gonzaga did win the game, so we know that part, and they are now 7-3 on the season. Interesting. Well, there you go. By the way, we have coming up for you tomorrow night on KMAS.com, video coverage of the Shelton Boys High Climbers basketball team. They're going to be hosting the Mount Tahoma team, and the live stream will begin just before 7. You can check it all out on KMAS.com or from our Facebook page on 1030 KMAS. Hope you'll join us tomorrow night and Friday. We have ladies back again playing basketball on our website. Bowling this afternoon at Westside Lanes, if you're so inclined, as the High Climbers host Lincoln. And wrestling this evening at Shelton High School, Mount Tahoma coming to town to grapple. They're grapplers.
They are grapplers.
So there's your sports notes home opener for the Ole Artesians. Don't forget this Saturday night. Wear warm clothes. And
I will.
And your PA announcer is Guy Smiley, right?
Hey, ole, 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 oi, oi, oi.
So instead of go, it's ole, ole. You should start something new there.
I'll figure it out. I'm going to go tonight. One, to figure out where the place is.
That's a very good idea. And then two to meet the team.
Meet the team, figure out who they are.
Hey, guys. Hello, I am your PA announcer.
All right, so I've got a couple stats here for you. Your Pelicans are the third worst team in the NBA.
Oy.
First worst team, the worst team. They got one win.
Yes.
Against
Philadelphia?
Yeah. Against the Lakers on that one game where the Lakers, they were fighting each other to lose.
Right.
Lakers are the second worst
There
team
you go.
with a 3-21 record.
3-21, that's horrible.
Yeah, Kobe.
Philly's got just one win, right?
One win. Yeah. Lakers have 3 wins. Pelicans.
Yes, Pelicans
turning
are
into a Pelicant. 6 wins.
Oh.
6-18.
They're cruising. How about Portland?
Portland, they are 11-15.
Oh, yeah, they're not winning twice as many as they're losing then.
I don't even think there's enough games to win twice as many as they lost. Golden State still top of the pack, 24-1.
Yeah.
They're good.
They are really, really, really good.
30, freezing fog. It is cold out there, 44 today. No rain. Tomorrow, about 1/10 of an inch. Thursday, 1.5 inches of rain. Moving into the next week, we see a big weather system coming with lots of rain, and it's going to get cold as well. Christmas Eve. Now, my forecast doesn't go to Christmas, but there is potential for snow on Christmas.
It's Daybreak with Jeff and Dale on KMAS News Radio. Join the guys as they talk with neighbors, newsmakers, and each other, getting your day off to the absolute best possible start in the history of mornings. Connect with Jeff and Dale through the KMAS listener line, by email or Facebook. Now, from the artesian waters of South Puget Sound, Daybreak with Jeff and Dale.
All right, good morning to you. We'll live the country life here in just a couple of moments. And in about an hour, we'll talk to Helen Thompson, also a NDCC cadet commanding officer and a cadet executive officer. Shelton High School received some great news this week. The Navy has recommended that they be returned to an NJROTC school for the school calendar year 2016-2017. They have been around since 1977 and will once again financially be supported by the Navy. Pat Burke at 8:15 talking about a request to the county to address the issues of abatement, jail space, and an illicit drug-fueled crime wave, which we are in the middle of.
Not us here in the middle of one, but yes.
No, there's no waves happening here.
What's in this?
I don't know. Where's that come from? Who brought you that one?
That came from my coat pocket yesterday.
Can you buy Cuban cigars in Washington yet?
I don't know. I haven't seen. I don't know.
I don't see why not. Haven't they relaxed all that stuff? That'd be interesting.
Not a priority, I don't think yet.
Really?
But maybe they have. Yeah. I mean, I have.
Are you concerned that the Cuban cigar will lose its illustrious standings after it just becomes flooded?
I'm very concerned about that, yeah.
I mean, we may find that for this whole time, Cubans were not the best.
They weren't that good anyway.
Well, what's the big problem? So yesterday, reaction, they voted up in Seattle for that Uber deal.
Who are these guys? Oh, they're the Cubans.
They're in my nightstand. Were those the Cubans that Kramer had?
Yeah.
No, the Salvadorians.
Salvadorians.
Reaction has been mixed at the Seattle City Council voted to give drivers for ride-hailing companies, taxis, and for hire transportation companies the right to unionize over pay and working conditions. Lyft urged the mayor, Ed Murray, and the Seattle City Council to reconsider following the bill's passage. Company says the ordinance threatens drivers' privacy, imposes costs to passengers and the city, and contradicts federal law. One Uber driver says he wants to bargain over issues such as safety and wages.
Well, 6 suspects from the Seattle area have been arrested near Portland in what they call a theft ring that victimized over 100 people across 7 states.
Oh, geez.
A big theft ring. Oregonian reporting this morning, 5 adults and a 15-year-old girl arrested in late November in West Lynn, Oregon. Suspects are accused of buying more than $26,000 in gift cards in a stolen credit card scheme. Whoa.
Canadian man pled guilty to a conspiracy charge for his involvement in a ring that used low-flying helicopters to smuggle cocaine and marijuana across the U.S. border. And this is, I believe this is the Canadian U.S. border.
Yes, it is the Canadian border.
Do we need a wall?
I remember
up there?
that guy's name, huh?
Do we need a wall up there too?
We need a wall. We need to wall ourselves in.
How are we going to wall the ocean?
I don't know. But I was walking the other day with the dogs, and I saw the perfect height to keep deer out of your gardens. 5-foot fence. I don't know if that's perfect.
Is that all you need?
That's enough to discourage them from trying to get in there and eat your
And I'd say it's probably high enough to discourage anybody from trying to jump over it. 5 feet.
You would like to think.
I couldn't get over that. I'd look at that and say, nah, probably pull something. Just move on.
Yeah, the drop from 5 feet over the top.
That's
of the
the killer.
That's the part that's hard to get over.
Good morning to you. 6:43 here at KMAS on the web, KMAS.com. Had a big premiere of Star Wars last night down in Hollywood, and I tell you what,
how did that go?
I guess it went great. I'm sure you can find spoilers on the internet. We are spoiler less this morning. You can still get tickets Thursday night. I believe it's 7 here at Shelton Cinemas. You can go check out that, and pretty cool stuff. There was a gazillion people down there. Zach Braff, who used to be on that Scrubs TV show, says, "Oh man, it was really, really good."
It was Star Warsy.
Yeah. Well, I would think so. And bringing the old crew and the new crew together. And I guess there's a twist. And the twist is probably having something to do with Luke
Skywalker. He was driving a fighter plane in that trailer I saw.
I'm glad that we got this quote from Shark Tank and Dancing with the Stars star Robert Herjavec. It's really well written. It's very, very... I mean, I thought it would be great.
The choreography is what I want.
It's great. What choreo? Oh, from Dancing with the Stars. That's what he's focused on. Robert Herjavec. Oh, I know why. Because Shark Tank and Dancing with the Stars are on ABC. And this is from ABC.
Oh. That's why.
Live the country life here in just a moment.
Oh, we are? Oh, goodness gracious.
What did we get wrong this time?
A 5-foot fence will not
keep the deers.
Deer. Look at 8 feet or above.
Boy,
oh, my word. Really?
She had 2 deers, a mama and a baby.
Yeah.
And the mama leaped over the fence and the baby crawled under.
Oh, so
well, that's not
5 foot's not going to work then.
Yeah.
Okay.
Well, thank you for that update.
I'll have to reconnoiter then.
Right. And if you've dealt with deer before, it's kind of hard to keep them away.
Or they get a whiff of those veggies and they want in.
Roses.
Or roses, too. You're right.
I was really surprised. You know, I didn't get any deer on my garden or on my roses this year. And they were right out front center.
Yeah.
We've had deer in the yard.
I'm surprised.
It's my invisible 8-foot fence. Yeah. Oh, and my guard dogs. Yeah, that's right. Simon is definitely.
6:45 here on your Tuesday. A good Tuesday to you.
You're listening to Daybreak with Jeff and Dale on KMAS News Radio.
Managing rabies on a national scale is very complicated. Hi, I'm Jody Henke. The USDA is vaccinating wildlife on the ground by taking flight in the air as you're living the country life.
Living the country life. Ideas and inspiration for your place in the country. You can find more information on today's topic and from previous shows by visiting us online at livingthecountrylife.com. We'll return to the show after these messages.
If your chicken coop is nicer than your garage, then you may have a passion for poultry. We are looking for some innovative, creative coops just like yours. Enter our Creative Coop Photo Contest brought to you by Cargill Neutrina Today. 3 lucky coop owners will each receive a free Cargill Neutrina Nature-Wise all-flock feed. There are many ways to enter. You can enter up to 5 photos online at livingthecountrylife.com/Creative Coop Contest or hashtag your Coop Photo Creative Coop Contest on Instagram, Twitter, or Facebook, or find us on our Facebook page at Living the Country Life. View our website to browse entries and get ideas for your own poultry palace at livingthecountrylife.com/creative coop contest. No purchase necessary. Contest ends at 8:59 p.m. Central Time on December 31st, 2015. Subject to official rules at livingthecountrylife.com/creative coop. Void or prohibited. Sponsor Meredith Corporation. Enter your coop photos today at livingthecountrylife.com/creative coop contest.
Rabies is a deadly disease for animals and humans and is most predominant on the East Coast, where raccoons and other wildlife live in close proximity to people. For the past 20 years, the USDA has been dropping rabies vaccination packets from airplanes to cut down on the spread of the disease. The focus is in 13 eastern states and Texas. Jordana Kirby is the USDA's rabies field coordinator. She says the vaccination baits look like restaurant ketchup packets.
We distribute them in large geographic areas over rural forested landscapes by fixed-wing aircraft. And so a large focus of that is along the Appalachian Mountains. We're able to distribute millions of baits in a fairly reasonable amount of time, and we fly at a very low altitude to ensure that the baits are hitting the ground as accurately as possible.
The baits have a very pungent smell. One type is coated with fish oil and fish crumbles, so raccoons and other wild animals can easily detect them. The other is a sweet-smelling vanilla-based attractant. Kirby says research has shown that after the baits have been distributed in the forest, wild animals will typically find them within 2 to 3 days.
They're designed in that once an animal actually bites into one of these packets, they will get the vaccine on the back of their oral cavity or on the back of their throat. And once it hits the back of their throat, they become orally vaccinated at that point.
Within a couple of months after the bait drop, Kirby says field biologists capture raccoons and skunks, collect a blood sample, and determine if the animal has developed an immune response. If it has, it will be considered vaccinated for the rest of its life. Learn more about the national effort to fight rabies at livingthecountrylife.com. I'll see you in the country.
Living the Country Life. Ideas and inspiration for your place in the country. You can find more information on today's topic, share your tips, and post photos by visiting us online.
Mason County Garbage and Recycling on Johns Prairie here in Shelton is pleased to offer safe and efficient removal services. Mason County Garbage and Recycling is always mindful of environmental standards and is continuously striving for the highest excellence. Mason County Garbage and Recycling, upholding your trust within the community. Questions? Call 426-8729. In Belfair, 275-4590. The folks at Seattle Seafood believe the holiday season is the perfect time to send warm wishes for the best that life has to offer and to say thanks for your friendship and goodwill. The holiday's best from Seattle Seafood.
Greetings of the season from the folks at Lucky Eagle Casino. They wish you the joys of Christmas and prosperity throughout the new year. Again, best wishes from Lucky Eagle Casino.
Good morning to you. Daybreak here, KMAS.
Morning already.
7 o'clock is just about 10 minutes away, and coming up before that, we'll have CNBC, a business radio report for you, see what the old Wall Street's talking about. Checking out some news stories. We'll tell you more about later in the morning, but the U.S. Senate has passed legislation to rename Nisqually Wildlife Refuge for the late Indian fishing activist Billy Frank Jr.
Oh?
I didn't even know they were looking at that.
I didn't either.
Reports are that the idea came from U.S. Rep. Denny Heck, a Washington Democrat, longtime friend of Frank, arrested for more than 50 times for illegal fishing in the Nisqually River before a change in the law. Have you ever done that 5-mile loop out there at the refuge? There's a couple trails.
I don't think I've done the big 5
The
mile
big,
loop.
oh, you would love it. They got a gazillion duck blinds, and
really,
you can kind of go out and, at least they used to. I think
they had a
revamped
short
it.
quickie skirting around the edges of that.
Yeah, along the river.
Yeah.
Yeah, that was a great trail too. This one went out, there's those 2 big barns on the property, so you kind of go out around there and out towards the water and then back in. And I think, if I remember correctly, they have it all, no dogs.
They have it all not paved, but you can push strollers.
Oh, really? Packed.
Yeah. So it's it's packed in. So that's pretty cool stuff. If you've ever been out there to Nisqually Wildlife Refuge, just north of Lacey, I guess it'd be in Nisqually.
I would suspect it would be.
Good morning to you. Thank you for tuning in and watching us on the YouTube video and listening on AM 1030 and FM 103.3.
Yes.
Saw there's a new Jennifer Lawrence movie coming out on Christmas that looks pretty good. David O. Russell. It's called Joy, and it is loosely inspired by the real-life home shopping entrepreneur and inventor Joy Manago. The film features Jennifer Lawrence, and Bradley Cooper once again.
Yes.
These two worked together with David O. Russell during Silver Linings Playbook. And it seems like it looks like it's a really good story. It's about QVC, how QVC got started.
Is that
how that's like it's the first internet?
Well, what did she invent?
Well, I don't know. I haven't gone that far.
Okay, I saw the previews to that. It looks good, and it looks like your everyday struggling person.
Yeah.
Bills mounting up, past due notices. Dad's, kind of like going, you got this bills due, and and all this is just, and the world's crashing in on her, and she comes up with this gimmick, this way to get out, and doesn't give up pushing until she makes it. Pretty good story.
Yes, struggling single mother of 3 kids, played by, invented the miracle mop.
Okay. All right. That's the deal.
Do you know what the miracle?
I don't know what the miracle mop
mop is. I don't either. But that's what she invented.
What my hair looked like in the 70s.
A miracle mop. Yeah, I'd say so.
Anyway, that sounds like a good movie. Sounds
Christmas
like
Day.
Christmas Day it opens?
Day.
Okay. All right. Very good. The first 10 amendments to the Constitution, known as the Bill of Rights, Jeff. There again, us lefties being persecuted.
Yeah, that's right.
The Bill of Rights went into effect following ratification by the state of Virginia, 1791, December 15th, 1791.
Man, what's the third one? First one's talking. Second one's guns.
Yeah.
Fourth one is search and seizure. Fifth one.
I didn't know what the fourth one was.
I think. Pretty important to know, actually.
Precursor to every DJ's. This is an important invention. Thomas Edison patented the phonograph.
We were just talking about switching back this morning
on this date in 1877. And now a little something from.
If we did,
Watson, who are these guys?
I'd bring in all vinyl.
Watson. Oh, now I got to invent something to get Watson now.
Last week we told you that you can go see the Maharishi's place.
Yes, I remember we did talk about
$10 or something. You got to get to India, but once you get to India, it's $10 to get in. The Beach Boys met with the Maharishi on this day.
Did they have to pay $10 too?
No.
Oh,
they're the Beach Boys.
The Beach Boys. Well, they learned transcendental meditation and great harmonies.
Was it Glenn Miller who was a pilot in the war?
I'm not sure about him being a pilot. I know he disappeared in a plane en route to England, from England to Paris during the war. But I think he was USO, playing for the troops.
Yeah.
And I don't know if he was a pilot himself. I'm sure you got the bio up there in front, so you'll give us that information here in just a moment. We lost Walt Disney on this date. In 1966, he died of lung cancer at the age of 65. Big smoker.
Here's a story for you.
Yeah.
There's a couple schools of thought on this. If you go to Disneyland and you ask for directions to something, everybody, all the characters and the people working there point in 2 fingers. One, because it's people, because culturally insensitive in some places to point one finger at people, right?
Yes,
the other working theory is
cartoon characters only have.
No, because Walt always smoked,
and
he always pointed with two fingers.
I never heard that. That's
so those
awesome.
Those are the two. You can take either one. But I know pointing at people and pointing in certain cultures is really bad news.
Right. So two.
And so, but the other one, but two fingers is okay.
That's
but
very
the
cool.
other thing is a cigarette.
See, valuable information that and you need a 10-foot fence and not a 5-foot fence to keep the deer out. So look at all we learned in the first hour. 2 hours to go. Don't go anywhere. 7 o'clock.
You're listening to Daybreak with Jeff and Dale on KMAS News Radio.
I'm Chris Maurer, CNBC Business Radio. The markets are looking to add to Monday's gains as day one of the two-day Federal Reserve meeting begins. Policymakers are widely expected to raise interest rates for the first time in nearly a decade. The Dow's up 216 points, the Nasdaq higher by 68. Junk bonds rebounding from deep losses over the past few days. Traders began a sell-off over low oil prices and after the closure of a junk bond fund. The Third Avenue Focused Credit Fund told shareholders last week that it was shutting down. And regulators are now looking at Third Avenue management. The SEC is reviewing whether the firm can legally liquidate its high-yield fund without first getting approval from the agency. And Massachusetts is launching its own investigation into the fund's closure. Chris Maurer, CNBC Business Radio.
There are no guarantees in love, but there is a guarantee from EH Plus by eHarmony, our new personal matchmaking service. At EH Plus, your own personal matchmaker gets to know you so well, we can guarantee introductions that will be satisfying and exciting. EH Plus goes far beyond regular online dating sites, and that's a guarantee. Visit us at ehplus.com/love or call 1-855-930-LOVE.
The gift that keeps on giving is almost always just a metaphor. Open it once, gift over. But at TGI Fridays, we have the gift that actually does keep on giving. For just $10, get any endless app, like one of 8 flavors of boneless wings, and we'll keep them coming over and over again. For a bit more, you can switch to another app. Loaded potato skins? Sure. Pan-seared pot stickers? Fine. You can even try them all. We don't care. We're just excited about giving and then giving some more. Endless apps with endless choice are back at TGI Fridays. At participating restaurants for a limited time. While supplies last.
Start your mornings live and local with Daybreak on KMAS Shelton. Join Jeff and Dale weekdays from 6 to 9 on AM 1030 or FM 1033.
Here's the latest from ABC News. I'm Karen Chase. Breaking news. A possible unspecified threat has apparently interrupted the trip to school for Los Angeles public school children. There are unconfirmed reports that bus drivers have been told not to make their morning runs and that schools may be closed for the day. Details are still sketchy. It's 15 degrees warmer in New York than LA as the freakish mild wave continues across the Northeast. ABC's Lana Zock takes a look at the impact.
The sun is shining, the grass is green, and for so many Americans, it is not beginning to look a lot like Christmas. All of this nice weather is having a huge impact on the nation's retailers. According to Ad Age, stores have already lost $185 million in sales due to the warm weather. But it may be good news for shoppers. Stores are trying to clear out massive amounts of merchandise, especially cold weather gear, so you can expect major markdowns in the weeks ahead. Lana Zach, ABC News, Washington.
Donald Trump and Ted Cruz have the biggest poll numbers heading into tonight's 5th Republican presidential debate in Las Vegas. But ABC's Alex Stone tells us Cruz has been closing in on Trump in Iowa.
Ted Cruz is now on top in at least 2 polls in Iowa, but Trump remains on top in national polls of likely GOP voters, and in some polls, he's way on top. Trump will remain at the center podium here tonight. He'll be flanked by Carson and Cruz on his left and right. Trump and Cruz, now close in numbers, are expected to go after each other.
Trump released a doctor's note saying he's extraordinarily strong and healthy. Critics say it's not a certified medical report. 2 things fans seem to agree on after watching the Star Wars The Force Awakens premiere. The franchise has shifted back to its action-oriented roots, and the original characters bring big surprises to the screen. It might take the sting out of the trip to work. Gas prices have fallen to a national average of $2.04 a gallon, the lowest in 6 years. Falling gas and food prices kept consumer prices in check. The consumer price index for November was flat. This is ABC News.
The gift that keeps on giving is almost always just a metaphor. Open it once, gift over. But at TGI Fridays, we have the gift that actually does keep on giving. For just $10, get any endless app like one of 8 flavors of boneless wings, and we'll keep them coming over and over again. For a bit more, you can switch to another app. Loaded potato skins? Sure. Pan-seared pot stickers? Fine. You can even try them all. We don't care. We're just excited about giving and giving and then giving some more. Endless apps with endless choice are back at TGI Fridays. At participating restaurants for a limited time. While supplies last, other restrictions apply.
Cricket Wireless is here to make your holidays even brighter. Ready, flip the switch! Get a $100 bill credit when you switch to the Merrier carrier before January 7th. Plus, get the Samsung Galaxy Grand Prime for $29.99. Whoa! Santa's definitely gonna know where your house is this year. Cricket Wireless, something to smile about.
Offers end 1/7/16. Offers require not reported and activation on qualified plan and same transaction. First month service charge due with sale. Bill credit requires 2 service payments within 45 days. Credit received within 60 days. Device purchase not required to receive credit. Basic phones excluded. Fees, other charges, and restrictions apply. See store for offer details.
Comedian Bill Cosby is now on the offensive. He's countersuing a number of women who've sued him for defamation. More from ABC's Lindsay Davis.
Bill Cosby is fighting back against numerous allegations of sexual assault, now claiming he's the victim, filing a lawsuit against several of his accusers. The lawsuit, filed Monday in federal court in Massachusetts, is countersuing 7 of the more than 50 women who've come forward accusing Cosby of sexual assault, drugging, or rape. Cosby's attorney accuses these particular victims of malicious, opportunistic, false, and defamatory accusations of sexual misconduct against him for their own financial gain.
Valiant Pharmaceuticals has a new distribution deal with Walgreens that Valiant says will lower the prices of its branded prescription-based drugs for dermatology and ophthalmology by 10% to generic levels. The deal also covers over-the-counter products. The products will be available at more than 8,000 Walgreens retail locations. The deal is due to take effect sometime next year. Karen Chase, ABC News.
Local news is brought to you by Shelton Health and Rehabilitation Center. Find them online at sheltonhealthandrehab.com.
You're listening to KMAS News Radio. I'm Marilyn Foster. A man was fatally shot by the Thurston County Sheriff's SWAT team Sunday night after he allegedly stabbed his cousin, then took his 3-year-old daughter hostage. Deputies were called just after 5:30 p.m. to a residence near Lacey on a report of a stabbing. Deputies arrived and were met by a 27-year-old male who had multiple stab wounds. The victim was conscious and was able to tell deputies that he was assaulted by his cousin, who was still in the residence. The SWAT and hostage negotiation team were called out. At approximately 8:35 p.m., the suspect was shot once by a SWAT marksman due to the immediate concern for the daughter's safety. The child was not injured. The stabbing victim is being treated at Harborview Medical Center. Growth. That is the future economic forecast for the region from a recent expo that brought together decision makers and community leaders from all sectors of business and industry in the region. The recent Regional Economic Forecast and Innovation Expo included representation from Grays Harbor, Lewis, Mason, Pacific, and Thurston counties. Mason County EDC Chair Lynn Longan was there and told Daybreak that even though the area has suffered some significant job losses, there is some growth potential because of Sierra Pacific. She said there are companies that have contracts with them who are looking to relocate here because they want to be closer to Sierra Pacific. How do citizens feel about the economy around Shelton and Mason County? According to Lynn Longan, the outlook is good. The Mason County EDC recently did a consumer confidence survey. It was paid for by Pac Mountain Workforce Development Council. While the majority of those surveyed agreed that the labor conditions right now are bad, there were plenty of good signs from the survey.
St. Martin's College and some volunteers made phone calls to people in town, and they asked them questions like, how likely are you to buy a house, or do you think it's a good idea? 53% said it's a good time to buy a house right now. 37% say they're going to buy major appliances. 31% said it's a good time to buy a new car. Family income in 6 months, 53% are neutral and 26% think that it's going to get better and that it's good.
It's the first time the county has done a survey like this, and they'll continue to do them so that there will be year-to-year comparisons in the future. See the full interview with Lynn on the Daybreak page at KMAS.com. Tonight is the final Republican presidential debate of the year. Both the main debate and an earlier undercard debate featuring 4 lower polling candidates will air live here. Donald Trump continues to lead the way in national polls, but is being closely trailed by Texas Senator Ted Cruz. Listen to our live broadcast on KMAS AM 1030, FM 103.3, or online at KMAS.com. I'm Marilyn Foster, your local news at AM 1030 and FM 103.3, and always on KMAS.com.
This is Hugh Hewitt. The next CNN Republican debate is coming up. I'll be on the panel along with moderator Wolf Blitzer. CNN's Dana Bash, as the GOP candidates square off in a make or break evening for several of them. You'll hear exclusive live Salem Radio Network coverage of the Republican debate in Las Vegas right here on this station.
Live coverage of the next GOP presidential debate Tuesday at 2 on AM 1030, FM 103.3, and online at KMAS.com.
Here's a way for you to green up that heating bill of yours. That is, save energy and save greenbacks. Go to archmechanical.com, learn about heat pumps and zone heating. We're talking about heating and cooling equipment and systems designed to heat or cool your home. Listen, if you don't use all the rooms in your home, why heat or cool them? Check out archmechanical.com and learn more. And green up. Archmechanical.com.
13 to shoot. Looking for Griffin. Can't find him. 11 to shoot. Finally gets it to him at the foul circle. He's doubled. The open player on the right wing is Crawford for three in the lead. Oh, he did it! 105-102. Sweet string music here in Motown.
Brian Seaman had the call on KFWB in Los Angeles. The Clippers held off the Pistons 105-103. Elsewhere, the San Antonio Spurs dominated the Utah Jazz 118-81. The Memphis Grizzlies beat the Washington Wizards 112-95. Dallas, Miami, Denver, Orlando, and Indianapolis also won. The Philadelphia 76ers did not win Monday. They fell to a league worst 1-25 after a 19-point loss to the Chicago Bulls. On Monday, Major League Baseball Commissioner Rob Manfred decided not to reinstate all-time hits leader Pete Rose. Rose was banned for life in 1989 for gambling on games. On the ice, the Sabres beat the Red Wings 2-1. The Lightning defeated Columbus by the same score. Washington thrashed Pittsburgh 4-1. Ottawa beat LA 5-3, and the Oilers outlasted the Bruins 3-2 in overtime. Dave Packer, ABC Sports.
For News Radio 1030 KMAS Shelton, FM 103.3, and KMAS.com, where you'll find our audio and video feed this morning on Daybreak. I'm Dale Hubbard, 9 minutes past 7 o'clock on a Tuesday morning. The final score, 86-50, Gonzaga over St. Martin's in Spokane last night, and Zags now 7-3 on the season, and we'll be getting ready for West Coast Conference action here very, very shortly. St. Martin's Division II school, probably didn't hold out a lot of hope for a victory, but played a close first half against Gonzaga, and then Gonzaga kind of legged it out in the second half. But nevertheless, two alma maters for Jerry Vermillion, whose book is available on Amazon.com. You can go there and pick up Jerry Vermillion's autobiography. He was a Hall of Fame coach at St. Martin's, coached at Irene S. Reed High School. And he was one of his first coaching stops along the way. Also coached at Loftbond High, which I don't believe is in existence anymore, up near Joint Base Lewis McChord, and had a long and storied history of coaching and playing basketball here in the Northwest. And so check that out if you get the chance. Jerry Vermillion's book, available on Amazon.com and also BN.com, Barnes and Noble. And the leading rebounder in Gonzaga basketball history. Now, he played in the 50s. That record still holds. He says, well, I got to play for 4 years, and they don't always start freshmen anymore. But he's just being
pretty humble there.
Yeah, there's still 4-year players that have not touched his rebounding record. So still cuts a pretty strong figure at his age, and a pretty interesting guy. Enjoyed having him on the air. All right, Bryce Brown is back. Marshawn Lynch is off site. And the Seahawks are scrambling to deal with their issues at running back. Thomas Rawls season-ending ankle fracture last week. Sunday's 35-6 win over Baltimore. Marshawn Lynch still recovering from abdominal surgery. The Seahawks are searching high and low for ways to fill the void, Brown being the latest candidate. He hopes, the hope is, of course, Lynch will be eventually back to take the lead role. He's missed 4 straight games, which we've won. That one has anything to do with the other, I don't think. Maybe it does. Who knows? Coach Carroll said there's no timetable for when Marshawn may return. He said Lynch is doing his rehab off-site. He was at the training facility yesterday watching his teammates behind glass, waving to him. Hey, how you guys doing? As for the upcoming game against Cleveland, Carroll indicated Bryce Brown and DeJuan Harris, who handled the primary ball-carrying responsibilities after Rawls went down Sunday, would vie for first and second down work next Sunday. Harris had 42 yards and 18 carries and fumbled at the 5-yard line against the Ravens. Fred Jackson, who picked up additional carries against Baltimore, will return to his usual third down role. And Carroll said also that strong safety Cam Chancellor's bruised tailbone still sore.
Wow, those hurt.
And it's not known whether he'll be able to practice Wednesday. Tight end Luke Wilson underwent an MRI on bruised ribs. Still waiting results on that. And cornerbacks Deshaun Shedd played a good game last week, by the way. And Marcus Burley, who suffered ankle injuries, both of them did against Baltimore, are in wait-and-see mode. So that time of year, every team gets tagged. They've got injuries, nicks, and scrapes, and you're never 100% at this stage of the season. And it's who's ever the strongest, they shall survive, to quote an old song.
Mm-hmm.
Gloria Gaynor, I think. There's sports. Jeff has the weather for you.
I know the song. I'm kind of paraphrasing, but you get the gist.
Yeah.
All right, good morning to you. It's Daybreak, 30, freezing fog. Daybreak actually will come at 7:52 this morning. 4:22 is the sunset. High just mid-40s today. A little bit of rain tomorrow, and then we start to see a lot of rain, actually. 1.5 inches on Thursday, 1/2 inch on Friday and Saturday, and maybe 1/3 on Sunday.
It's Daybreak with Jeff and Dale on KMAS News Radio. Join the guys as they talk with neighbors, newsmakers, and each other, getting your day off to the absolute best possible start in the history of mornings. Connect with Jeff and Dale through the KMAS listener line, by email or Facebook. Now, from where I-5 takes a sharp left toward Portland, Daybreak with Jeff and Dale.
All right, good morning to you. It is Daybreak 7:15. Following up on what ABC was reporting about 15 minutes ago, classes down in Los Angeles. Los Angeles. Closed. Unspecified threat. The LAPD, again, this is Los Angeles schools. But we are making sure that you are aware of that. Oh, my goodness. Here's a headline for you. Malik, who was one of the alleged shooters at the San Bernardino deal.
Yes.
Here's the headline. Did Malik's Facebook settings foil feds?
Oh, no.
Is it just that easy?
Oh, no.
See, he set everything to private. Oh, my gosh. I'll have to read more on that one.
So just setting it to private was enough to stump the CIA and the FBI? And
I'll have to read the article, but if making an opinion based off that headline, I would say yes.
Yeah, that's not good.
No, it's not good. Just the settings? Oh, my gosh.
That's a pretty easy way to derail the government if they're sniffing after you.
Ah, private.
There, that should take care of it.
Was it you who used to sell encyclopedias?
Yes.
Door to door?
Yes.
And you had to carry all 26?
No. You carried a compilation of the 26, weighed about 600 pounds.
The compilation did?
Yeah,
I bet.
And plus you had this big fold-out thing you put out on the floor, showing some kind of a map of how the encyclopedias will enhance your children's life. And then you had this book that was big, compilation of all 26 editions, and it's all in a satchel.
Yeah,
it was heavy. Especially over in the Tri-Cities in the summertime. When it was over 100 degrees. You're pitted out.
Yeah.
I got to the point where I just knock on doors and say, listen, All I want is a cold glass of water. Thank you very much. What are you selling? Encyclopedias. You want one? No? Okay, thanks. Just because they drop you off in a neighborhood, and then you don't see anybody, you don't know anybody for like 2 or 3 hours, 4 hours before they come back and get you.
It's a real self-motivated job.
Yeah, they take you over to the Tri-Cities, and then they drop you off in some neighborhood.
They'll leave you if you don't sell anything.
Yeah. Oh, man, it was brutal.
I bring it up because a recent tweet by Justice Winslow.
Sure.
Plays for Duke.
Famous encyclopedia salesman.
Miami Heat rookie.
Uh-huh.
He tweets out, Wikipedia asking for donations. Might have to do it. Wouldn't have gotten through high school without it. Definitely not Duke. So that's a tweet. And I just bring it up just because of Wikipedia. I mean, this kid went all the way through high school using Wikipedia.
Yeah.
And college.
Yeah.
Whew.
Well, which is probably more thorough and spawns more topics on a deeper level than any encyclopedia that was ever published.
Most teachers don't accept Wikipedia as a source, but because
it's all private.
Because people,
contributions.
Yeah, because people can go in there and shenanigan.
Okay.
But it certainly helps people get an understanding of the subject matter they're looking up, and then they'll find the source notes to go to the actual sites. And I think that's what it is. But I just found that interesting.
And Wikipedia is like totally non-profit setup.
Right? Yeah.
I mean, it's just like they're not cutting any fat hog, and you don't see any advertisements on Wikipedia.
No, they do. They do.
I do.
I know. You do. But it's what do you call it? Like pledge drive. They do pledge drives. Yeah. So every so often,
that player's thinking about.
They say $3 will help, like support a year. If everyone gave $3, the fundraising would done within an hour. Yet they have this on here for 2 weeks.
As little as I use Wikipedia, I still think it would be worth $3 a year to keep it available.
Yeah,
to me on a personal. I mean, I use when I do use it, I really need it. I mean,
yeah, it's right there.
Yeah.
Well, there's a lot of Wikipedia than just looking up one thing. Like they have a day in history. They have the latest in the news. They have some fun factoids just on the feature article, just on the main page. And then, of course, from there, you can go in and find information just about on anything, including KMAS.
Yeah.
We have a Wikipedia entry. Did you know that?
I did know that.
You're in it. Your name is it.
You fashioned it, didn't you?
I tried to write it.
Thank you for mentioning me. Some people
right at the top, President and GM.
You're listening to Daybreak with Jeff and Dale on KMAS News Radio.
Suncrest Storage hopes that you and your loved ones will enjoy the special gifts of the season. The gift of love, the gift of peace, the gift of happiness. Suncrest Storage hopes that this will be your best Christmas ever.
At this special time of year, a special message from your friends at L&E Bottling. May the miracle of Christmas bring thoughts of joy and peace. Happy holidays and best wishes for the new year from L&E Bottling.
Are you tired of commuting to a job that makes someone else rich, working harder than ever, but getting nowhere? Do you hate spending hundreds of dollars every week on daycare, having someone else raise your children? With our opportunities, you can start earning money as soon as next week. You get to be the boss, work from home, and live a happier life. At Be the Boss Network, you'll find hundreds of work-from-home opportunities that you can literally start today and be earning money as soon as next week. Go to freedom31.com and start earning money as soon as next week. You get to be the boss. Get out of the rat race. Work from home. Go to freedom31.com right now and change your life today. That's freedom31.com. Go to freedom31.com and start earning money as soon as next week. You be the boss. Go to freedom31.com.
this is Commissioner Randy Netherland, and you're listening to Daybreak with Jeff and Dale on News Radio 1030 KMAS.
All right, good morning to you. It's Daybreak here at KMAS 721. About 20 minutes from now, we'll talk with Helen Thompson and a couple folks from the NNDCC, soon to be renamed NJROTC for the school year 2016-2017. Before the break, I told you the headline, San Bernardino's was it the security settings which kept the feds from finding this? And so as I look closer into this story on CNN this morning, looks like Tashfeen Malik advocated jihad in messages on social media, and this was the wife, but her comments were made under a pseudonym with strict privacy settings. And those settings did not allow people outside a small group of friends to see them. So that's how... And because it was a pseudonym, like a fake Facebook page,
right?
They couldn't even link it to her anyways. And so I was wondering in the break, we were talking about this, and I said, so Edward Snowden makes these claims that the government is spying on us on everything. They can turn on our cameras on our phones and watch us without any kind of notice. They record all of our phone calls. They do this, they do that. But where is the security checks in this? And not even having to go deep, because my search histories, I would imagine, are pretty suspect some days. And so maybe not even just localized on the machine, but once a message has been sent from a machine to another machine, aren't there keywords? I mean, if they're really spying on us every moment of the day, and they've got these spoof cell phone towers like in Tacoma, where they take all your information from your cell phone. Remember that story?
Yeah, I do.
I mean, if they have those things, then where is this lapse? Is it a agency to agency lapse that they're just still not communicating? FBI, CIA, NSA, they're not communicating with each other?
There's an element of that involved, absolutely. It's hard to imagine if they know about all these breaches, and there is all that information that they have gleaned, but when asked to provide it, nobody seems to be able to find it.
Right.
Raises eyebrows, causes suspicion. There's no doubt about that.
So she got her visa, her wife visa, whatever, and U.S. immigration officials, reported on by the Times, conducted 3 background checks when she emigrated from Pakistan, but did not uncover social media postings because it was part of a pseudonym and privacy controls. Would not have been found even if U.S. authorities had reviewed social media as part of the whole deal. They wouldn't have found it because they would have been looking at her.
Looking for her stuff.
Her stuff.
Yeah. Well,
it says it's 100% security is difficult to achieve. And that's probably right.
Well,
you never know.
I can't disagree with that.
Wow, that is a crazy story.
Yeah, it really is. And it's going to be ongoing. And so also now there's this little note of question about why the Los Angeles School District has stopped bus service for the kids this morning.
I'm going to go down there, see if I can find.
With no clear or distinct reasoning yet behind it. So we're still awaiting that.
All Los Angeles public schools closed. BuzzFeed News confirms after reported bomb threat. That's breaking on BuzzFeed.
So there was a
News.
bomb threat. That's what your suspicions are, but you don't want to say anything until you get somebody to confirm that.
The LA school district also asking businesses to be flexible with parents, right? Because many are going to have to stay home because of this.
Yeah.
Interesting.
Maybe
Electronic
some guy
threat.
didn't want to go to work and he called in a bomb threat.
An electronic threat was received and is being analyzed. That's the latest down there in Los Angeles.
Wow.
All right, 726 here at KMAS, KMAS.com. Tonight at 2, this afternoon at 2.
This afternoon at 2, on into the night.
On into 9 o'clock tonight, we'll have the 5th GOP presidential debate, last one of the year, last one before the Iowa caucuses in beautiful Las Vegas. Again, they've got that undercard 4-person debate thing, and then they'll have 9 folks on the other one.
Yeah.
What if CNN said, nope, sorry, we're not going to put you on? Would that change their presidential aspirations? Say, sorry, Pataki, Graham, Santorum, Huckabee, whoever those 4 are. Say, we're just not going to do this.
I don't know. I mean, there's some certain point in time where you've got to face the reality, and I guess are they all holding out? Is it New Hampshire is the first one?
Iowa, then New Hampshire, then South Carolina.
So are they putting all their chips in Iowa and hoping that they can get a second place finish or something?
I don't even think they're at a third place finish.
I don't understand.
So Cruz wins Iowa, theoretically.
Or do you have to stay in the race long enough to be able to write a book?
And
or to go on the speaker circuit and go, well, former presidential candidate.
And that's it. Maybe you just had to do that once.
I don't know. I don't know what the answer is to it, but it seems ridiculous to have 13 people trying to get a party's nomination, and clearly,
I don't see a lot of
the bottom half of the 13 are not going to be selected.
Clearly.
I mean, what's the charade here? Why do we go through these?
I feel bad for Scott Walker. Remember that?
Yeah.
He dropped out months ago saying...
And it was what, a leader, I would say, last spring?
Yeah, people had talked about him being a big time player. And so he quits. He says, hey, everybody, we should all quit so folks can focus better on the race.
And he's the only one.
He's the only one.
Yeah, you with me?
Yeah,
Scott,
totally
go ahead.
Scott.
Yeah, what a sucker. He'd quit.
Yeah, sweet. Yeah. Now I'm one higher.
Now I'm 14th instead of 15th.
729 at KMAS. I don't see, and there's not a lot of difference. I mean, between any of the candidates running, there's a lot of similarities between the 13 Republicans and the 3 Democrats. They all essentially have the same kind of deal in their own parties, right?
Well, the ones that are down in the polls would say that you're just like the front runner, only different.
We'll find out what happens.
All
bets are off. If this is the last remembrance of them before people go to Iowa caucusing, it could be fiery tonight.
Yeah, well, I think it will be. They're fighting for their life.
That's true.
So it's always better. And they got more time on the mic. There's only 4 of them. So they'll be able to whack it up pretty good. All right, quick, Jeff. The drummer for the Dave Clark 5 is?
Dave Clark.
73 years old.
Is he really, that drummer?
Yeah. Yeah, and I'm glad all over. 7:30. News time.
You're listening to Daybreak with Jeff and Dale on KMAS News Radio.
Local news is brought to you by Fred Holmes Tree Service. FredHolmesTreeService.com, 427-4489.
You're listening to KMAS News Radio. I'm Marilyn Foster. A man was fatally shot by the Thurston County Sheriff's SWAT team Sunday night after he allegedly stabbed his cousin, then took his 3-year-old daughter hostage. Deputies were called just after 5:30 p.m. to a residence near Lacey on a report of a stabbing. Deputies arrived and were met by a 27-year-old male who had multiple stab wounds. The victim was conscious and was able to tell deputies that he was assaulted by his cousin, who was still in the residence. The SWAT and hostage negotiation team were called out at approximately 8:35 p.m. The suspect was shot once by a SWAT marksman due to the immediate concern for the daughter's safety. The child was not injured. The stabbing victim is being treated at Harborview Medical Center. Growth. That is the future economic forecast for the region from a recent expo that brought together decision makers and community leaders from all sectors of business and industry in the region. The recent Regional Economic Forecast and Innovation Expo included representation from Grays Harbor, Lewis, Mason, Pacific, and Thurston counties. Mason County EDC Chair Lynn Longan was there and told Daybreak that even though the area has suffered some significant job losses, there is some growth potential because of Sierra Pacific. She said there are companies that have contracts with them who are looking to relocate here because they want to be closer to Sierra Pacific. How do citizens feel about the economy around Shelton and Mason County? According to Lynn Longan, the outlook is good. The Mason County EDC recently did a consumer confidence survey. It was paid for by Pack Mountain Workforce Development Council. While the majority of those surveyed agreed that the labor conditions right now are bad, there were plenty of good signs from the survey.
St. Martin's College and some volunteers made phone calls to people in town, and they asked them questions like, how likely are you to buy a house, or do you think it's a good idea? 53% said it's good time to buy a house right now. 37% say they're going to buy major appliances. 31% said it's a good time to buy a new car. Family income in 6 months, 53% are neutral and 26% think that it's going to get better and that it's good.
It's the first time the county has done a survey like this, and they'll continue to do them so that there will be year-to-year comparisons in the future. See the full interview with Lynn on the Daybreak page at KMAS.com. Tonight is the final Republican presidential debate of the year. Both the main debate and an earlier undercard debate featuring 4 lower polling candidates will air live here. Donald Trump continues to lead the way in national polls, but is being closely trailed by Texas Senator Ted Cruz. Listen to our live broadcast on KMAS AM 1030, FM 103.3, or online at KMAS.com. I'm Mary Lynn Foster, your local news at AM 1030 and FM 103.3, and always on KMAS.com.
Ascend Roofing Company in Shelton's on top of it. 868-2730. Roofing work that speaks for itself.
Just a note to express our appreciation for restoring our faith in a handshake. You did what you said you would, and that's all anyone can expect.
We truly appreciate the work that was done, and your son Ryan is a wonderful representative of your company. Thank you again for making the gutters clean and our roof moss resistant.
You could be the next happy customer by calling Ascend Roofing. 868-2730.
So what's up?
Well, you know what? This HUD stuff is going on quite a bit. I want to ask Art about what he thinks about that. We've been getting chatter. We've been hearing chatter about this.
Wait a minute. Wait a minute. What is it you want to ask Art about?
HARP and CERN.
Whoa. Okay. Well, I can start with HARP. I can help you out. You don't need Art for that. The deal with HARP is it's being turned over to a university, if you can believe that.
Midnight in the Desert with Art Bell. Live weeknights, 9 to midnight on KMAS.
See, when you're watching, now you know how we're sitting, prepared, and ready to go.
Yeah.
Every moment of the morning.
Yep.
Newsradio 1030 KMAS Shelton, FM 103.3, and KMAS.com. Audio and video this morning. I'm Dale Hubbard. It is 7:34. In the aftermath of Johnny Manziel helping the Browns snap a 7-game losing streak on Sunday, 24-10 pasting of the San Francisco 49ers. Some of the polarizing quarterback's critics have been quick to point out that he still cannot be trusted. Still, the Browns insisted yesterday they have his back. On Football Night in America, Sunday night, Pro Bowl safety Rodney Harrison explained why he doesn't consider Manziel a legitimate franchise quarterback. I still think you have to find a starting quarterback, Harrison said. He's good. He's a really good athlete, so I'd keep him on the roster. But if I'm a guy in that locker room, I don't want to play with Johnny Manziel because I simply can't trust him.
Oh.
Super Bowl winning coach Tony Dungy added, and that's your biggest problem as a head coach when you draft Manziel. You're 3 years down the road, and you don't know what you have. You don't know if you have a guy you can depend on. That's why I would not have drafted him. But the Browns did draft Manziel, and they even traded up 4 spots to get him, 22nd overall last year. So they're going to defend him despite his flaws. Head coach Mike Pettin benched Manziel for the previous 2 games after the former Heisman Trophy winner partied during the bye week, and then he lied about it.
Mm-hmm.
So Pettin knows Manziel is far from perfect. His off-field issues and trip to an inpatient rehab facility this past offseason have been thoroughly chronicled, and Coach, however, doesn't agree with Harrison's assessment. The bottom line is Harrison's not in our locker room, Pettin said during a conference call. He doesn't see Manziel every day, and I think he'd have a more respect for him if he did. Talk to a guy that's in the locker room, like tight end Gary Burnage. who sees how he prepares, who sees how he's on the practice field, sees the noticeable difference from a year ago, the improvement, the commitment, the dedication, the wanting to get it right, making sure that the details are right. So it's hard for me to really lend any credence to any opinions that are outside of our locker room. Barnage said Manziel is starting to understand what it means to be a professional. Hopefully he doesn't quite get it this Sunday.
No, yeah, wait a week.
So
let it sink in.
As you know, or you should know at least by now, that the Cleveland Browns and Johnny Football and the whole entourage coming to Seattle, taking on the Seahawks this Sunday. We'll have the game for you beginning at 11 in the morning with our pregame festivities, and then the kickoff set for a little after 1 o'clock from CenturyLink Field. Should be a good one. The Hawks taking on the Browns. Yeah. All right. We have locally on KMAS.com live video coverage of high climber basketball. The boys take on Mount Tahoma tomorrow night. Join Jeff and myself on the video on KMAS.com or on our Facebook /1030 KMAS. And we'll redo the same thing again on Friday night with the girls taking on Central Kitsap. So tomorrow and Friday, 2 big games for you coming up this week. Today, bowling at Westside Lanes against Lincoln, and wrestling tonight at Shelton High School in the Mini Dome as Mount Tahoma comes to town. And that's sports. Jeff, weather?
Yeah, it's 7:38. Good morning to you. South Sound forecast, 30 out there now. Freezing fog. 44 is going to be the high today. Looking like we'll be dry throughout. And for the most part, dry tomorrow as well. Thursday, on the other hand, Dale.
Yeah.
Oh, about 1.5 inches of rain tomorrow.
Man, I was kind of getting used to a beautiful day yesterday.
1/2 inch on Friday and Saturday. Near that on Sunday.
Top down today.
I don't know about that. Forecast for Christmas Eve, little bit of snow.
Daybreak with Jeff and Dale on KMAS News Radio. Join the guys as they talk with neighbors, newsmakers, and each other, getting your day off to the absolute best possible start in the history of mornings. Connect with Jeff and Dale through the KMAS listener line, by email or Facebook. Now from Shelton's Media Row, Daybreak with Jeff and Dale.
All right, good morning to you. Dale's going to go get our next guests, bring them into the studio while I have you here for a moment. I just want to let you guys know that we are, and I am aware and working on what the deal is with Art Bell and Midnight in the Desert. It was last week where he quit, stopped doing the show, and I think they're going to, we'll definitely have Midnight in the Desert for the next 30 days. After that, we'll continue to see what they decide to do. Art Bell, though, by all accounts, I'm not sure. By all accounts, he has hung it up finally for the last time, and he's done this a couple times in his career.
I think it's part of the show.
And some people think that as well. He claims that there are people coming in attacking him and his family, but we're aware of the problem, and we're working on it to bring you the best quality broadcasts available all day here on KMAS.
Which brings us to our next topic.
Yes.
Some fine young people.
Hello, everybody.
And that includes you too, Helen. Are in studio with us this morning. I want to welcome Helen Thompson from Shelton High School. And I don't recall now the NNDCC. I don't know what all the, I think I nailed the NJROTC this morning.
You did.
Okay. Was it, and it was Naval?
Navy.
Yes. Okay. So now what's the NNDCC stand for?
That's the Navy National Defense Cadet Corps.
Okay. And that's what you are today.
Yes. That's what the Navy put in place when they started closing the NJROTC units. The schools out there wanted an opportunity to continue.
Sure.
But the Navy didn't want to fund them. So they gave them this. It's the same exact program without the funding.
Oh, I see. All right. And as I recall, about a year ago, we had this conversation. You had to have 100 students participating or something to that effect. There was some bar that was set.
Back in 2011, we the unit received a probation letter from the Navy because their enrollment was at 77. And this had happened several times over the lifetime of the unit.
Sure. Because it ebbs and flows, right?
Ebbs and flows. And they take an annual enrollment count, which is done October 1st. And so when the letter came in November, it really wasn't totally unexpected, but we thought we had until the next October 1st date to get the enrollment up. But what happened was they took another count February 1st. And at that time, we were at 80, 87, 89, something like that. So that's what they based their decision to disestablish the unit, was based on that number. So that was a big surprise. So lots of twists and turns along the way, but we did get disestablished as an NJROTC, and that was done effective the end of the school year in 2013. And so they were disestablished. The school district went ahead and applied to continue as an NNDCC, and that was approved. And the Shelton School District found a way to keep it going. So it has been an NNDCC. This is the third school year. The Navy, the original agreement was that the Navy expected a school to continue as an NNDCC for 2 years, which required them to meet all the qualifications to be an NJROTC. So we had to have 100 or more. Everything had to be met to be an NJROTC while we were an NNDCC.
Oh, man, okay.
And we did that.
That's awesome.
And unfortunately, when we reapplied for NJROTC, there was no federal funding available.
Right.
So this is our third school year as an NNDCC. So there wasn't a whole lot of hope that anything was going to happen, but to our surprise this week, we were told that the Navy did recommend us to be returned to an NJROTC.
Well, congratulations. That's exciting.
It is exciting. We're all a little afraid to be excited about it, though. So
guarded.
Yes, guarded.
Yeah.
We're waiting for that paper that says
officially.
Here it is.
Yeah. Introduce our young Chargers here that we have members of
Right here is Caroline Ray. She's the cadet executive officer.
Hi, Caroline.
Hi.
Hello.
And behind her is Asher Fuel. He's the cadet commanding officer this year.
Hello. Hello. Hi, Asher. You look like you've just come out of Marine basic training already. Man. Not yet.
Well, they just came from a drill meet at Washington High School on Saturday.
How did we do?
Really well, actually. You want to talk about your team?
Yeah.
All right. So on top of being the commanding officer, I am also the armed drill team commander. That's like our varsity drill team. And at the first meet, which was sometime in November, my drill team got first place. And this meet we got second. But individually as a commander, I got first, which isn't as important. But my team got second. And there's four drill meets in a year. And depending on how you do in each one, there's another one you get to go to as regionals. It's like the state competition.
Sure.
And so we're looking like we're going to make it there. We're on track.
That's awesome. Yeah. That is. What does the group's involvement mean to you guys?
Involvement in the community.
Just in the community or in your day-to-day lives, or
they've both been in it since they were freshmen.
Yeah.
So
Are you both seniors now?
Yes.
Uh-huh.
So this is their fourth year.
Uh-huh. So Caroline, let's talk to you first. What kind of an experience has this been for you? And do you have aspirations to be in military when you graduate?
I actually don't.
Okay.
And that's what's really great about the program is that you can try it out and see if you like it. And if you want to join the military afterwards, that's cool too. You know, you go in as an E3 just for being in the program for a couple of years. Yes.
That's really cool. Yeah.
And you get a great leadership experience out of it. I did it because I just didn't want to join ASB. I wanted something leadership-wise for a class, and I didn't want to take like a stereotypical thing. I wanted to try something new, and this was it, and I stuck with it, and I like it a lot.
Yeah, good for you. What are you going to do after graduation?
I want to be a certified nurse midwife,
Oh.
and so that goes to nursing school and then to midwifery school and all that experience.
Wow. Okay,
Yes.
that's a tall order.
Exciting.
You want to speak, Asher?
Yeah.
Yeah, sure. What is your first of all, your impressions of the program and the 4 years you've been involved? Yeah.
Well, When I was in 8th grade, I had a cousin. His name was Gavin Shear. He's now a Marine. He was in the program. He's a year older than me, so he was a freshman in the program, and I was in 8th grade. And I guess you could say I looked up to him, but he was kind of the one that pushed me to join, because I was on the fence about joining. I was going to be like, oh, I'll just stay for the semester and get out because it's ROTC. The nerds join ROTC.
Yeah.
But then, I don't know, I just started getting involved in leadership positions and got honor cadet, which is distinguishing myself above the cadets when I was a freshman, and got armed drill team, which is varsity drill team. And I don't know, I kind of stuck with it, and now I'm the CO. So
that's awesome. So it's been a good experience for you.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. Do you have military aspirations when you leave school?
Yes, I do. I recently, I just finished the NROTC application, which is not junior ROTC, it's ROTC in college. And if you do 4 years of that in college, you graduate as an officer in the Navy. And the scholarship, it's a $180,000 scholarship. It covers everything but room and board.
Wow.
And so my first choice college is the University of Washington in Seattle. And I want to major in civil engineering and then do that in the Navy for as long as they'll let me.
Wow. Okay. That's a good plan.
Yeah.
Awesome plan.
They have a good ROTC at UW. They have a good program there. That's pretty impressive. How do you get, so you guys go then to the middle schools and try to get people as they come in. Is that an easy process to kind of explain to the 8th graders what you will be getting involved in and what you can expect to get out of it if you push yourself hard enough? Do they understand the message?
I think so. A lot of people don't look past the part where it's kind of, people think it's nerdy to do it, and people can't really get past that. But once you do and you get in it and you're like, oh, why did I not do this? Why haven't I been hanging out with these people? You know, you kind of have to look past the social part of it and look for the benefits, because there are just so many within the program.
Discipline, I suspect there's just a lot of good life skills that are incorporated into the. Is there a curriculum, Helen, actually associated with this?
There is. And actually that was part of one of the things that we addressed when we were looking at trying to increase enrollment was, let's look at the curriculum and really push for students to be able to actually get credit for what they're being taught. And when you look at the curriculum in the Naval Science program, it covers so many things. It's very broad. There's science, there's social studies, it's an occupational education program, there's a fitness element, and we wanted to make sure that the students that were taking this program were getting credit for what they were learning. And so we worked with the Shelton School District, and that came about, as well as finally getting back to recognizing the fitness piece of it, which was part of the reason we believe that enrollment had decreased when they took the PE credit away. So now they can use it as a PE alternative. They get a social studies credit. They can get occupational education credit. It really helps them to be able to stay in the program because, as we all know, graduation requirements have gotten more and more difficult to meet. And that was part of the reason why a lot of kids would drop out of the program in their junior or senior year, because they had to meet graduation requirements or they had to meet college admission requirements. So they just didn't have enough time in a day to take an elective program. So that was one of the things that we addressed when we were.
What's your numbers now? How many kids are enrolled in the program now?
Well, since we got the probation letter in 2011, every October 1st, we have exceeded the 100 requirement. So we have done that, and we've got our fingers crossed because we'll have another count on February 1st, and that we'll be there. Right now we're about 104. It goes up and down. We were as high as 115 last year. So it's like everything else, kids moving in and out of the district. There's not a lot of things that you can control, but we're trying to control the things we can. So
we see you guys in parades and doing community outreach, and also you're wearing uniforms and that sort of thing. Are those issued by the school, or is that an expense that the students have to
Well, when under the NJROTC program, the Navy provides that, and that's a huge expense. So once we lost that funding, then we were expected to purchase any uniform, any equipment, anything. The Navy only provided the curriculum. And so we've managed, because we've been a unit since 1977, we have an inventory of uniforms, and we mended, patched, anything we could do to save
They don't change much over the years. That's the upside to it, right? I mean,
they did change about 4 years ago, but fortunately we were able to we've been able to fit every cadet that's come in. It may not be perfect, but you know, we get them out there. And then our booster club has been a big support of the cadets and the program, and in making sure that they get whatever they need. So, and the school district too has helped out. So that's been a real plus. We're very, very fortunate that when this message came to us that we were losing this program, people came to me and said, "Tell me what I can do. What can I do to help?" You know, we started out bringing the message out there to people, and we had 2,500 people sign a petition to help, to send a message to our senators asking them to help us.
Did you get a lot of help from the state senators or the county folks, or even some of the Navy?
We did. We asked people, because this was a program that Congress established, and oh, by the way, 2016 is the 100th anniversary of the JROTC program.
Oh, wow.
And it will be the 50th anniversary of the Navy program. So we'll be celebrating that too. And in fact, there's a 5K run that's being done worldwide in April, and they're hoping to make a Guinness Book of World Records and have 1 million runners across the country, and actually the world, a simultaneous run. So we're going to be a part of that. You know, we have so many people to thank. You know, our senators and Senator Cantwell and Senator Murray and Congressman Dix at that time, they wrote a joint letter to the Secretary of the Navy for us. Congressman Heck and Congressman Kilmer have been involved. Congressman Heck's staff has been great. We've had people from the VFW and the American Legion and Military Officers Association of America help us. General McElroy here, a Shelton High School graduate and resident, he came to us right away and said, "Tell me what I can do." He went up to Senator Cantwell's office with Shaloy Johnson and I initially, and we've had so much support.
That's terrific.
And the community and across the country, we've had people writing letters and to their own congressmen, because you know, sometimes you can't do it alone. You have to really get out there. But you know, we have the people on the school board, former school board members. Suma Coslin was a big help initially, came to our community meetings, was really good at giving us input. And Brenda Hershey, she and her husband have been a real big support. You know, we didn't do this alone. We couldn't have done it alone. And it never would have happened at all if our Sergeant Major hadn't stuck with us. He could have left. He could have left when the program ended.
Sure.
But he stuck with us, and, you know, he's the reason it's still here. So, Asher, you wanted to mention our annual military inspection that's coming up?
Yes.
Yeah. So, first of all, AMI, the annual military inspection, we have what we call our area manager. He's a Navy officer that's in charge of all the NJROTCs in a certain region. And our region is Area 13. It spans from Alaska to Nevada to even Guam. We have cadets over in Guam and Japan, yes. And so he has to go to each NJROTC, him or a representative has to go to each NJROTC and inspect each one of the cadets just to make sure that they are being taught what they're supposed to. And so this year, ours happens to fall on the 18th of February. And that goes during the school day. And then after school, we have a pass and review, which is where all the cadets march in front of the area manager. His name is Captain Winseslow. He's a pretty big supporter of our program as well.
Good.
And so after the inspection, we all go back to school and finish the rest of the day because we are in high school still. But we come back at 6:00 p.m. at the mini dome, and we all do a formal military passing review in front of the captain. And we have the bleachers extended, so it's open to the community. It doesn't cost anything to get there. It's
nice. Yeah,
it's totally free. If you want to watch what we've been teaching our cadets and what they've been practicing, it's very interesting and almost rewarding because it can. If you have someone that's on the fence about joining ROTC and they see that, I mean,
pretty
drill
impressive.
Meet, yeah, exactly. One of the drill meets is what kind of kicked me into the program. So
that's February 18th, you said?
Yes.
Yes.
At 6:00 in the mini dome at the high school.
We'll have to get you guys back in just before that to remind us all.
Excellent.
Caroline, how many girls are there in the program?
Oh my goodness. I couldn't even tell you. We have probably more.
More
Now,
girls than boys?
When I was in, we probably had like 15 girls out of the 80 or 90. And in the last couple of years, it has been so much of an increase in girls. It is amazing how much female support we get in the unit.
That's surprising and in a good way, though. I mean,
In fact, I think Asher's armed drill team is 2/3 female.
Is it?
75%.
Yeah.
Wow.
75% of my drill team
is
is composed of females.
We've been taken over.
Yeah. Yeah, I would encourage the public to come. They've been a big support. We hope everyone that's been out there supporting us. We know there's no way we can know everyone because people made phone calls, people wrote letters.
Sure.
It's a lot of word of mouth, and that's how we've increased enrollment is people talking about the program. And that's what I tell everyone. When they say, what can I do? I say, talk about it. Tell people what you know about this. Encourage students in grades 9 through 12 in the Shelton School District to check it out.
Yeah.
Go see their counselor. They can talk to Sergeant Major. They can stop one of the cadets. Talk to them.
Very good. Well, best of luck to the two of you. You're on the right road there, that's for sure. Best of luck, Helen, with the program. It sounds like it's going in the right direction. And congratulations on getting reinstated with the Naval JROTC. You guys, you got 1 minute here to do. We always allow the students to do a shout out. If you would like to say hi to anybody that may or may not be listening to you on the radio this morning.
Go ahead.
I don't even.
Hi, Mom. I love you.
There you go. That's exactly it. There it is.
Good start. Go ahead.
I don't know.
Hi, Mom. Say hi,
Corbin.
Alpine.
Hi, Dad. Hi, Alpine Way.
There you go. See all those people.
We just want to make sure we thank you too, Jeff and Dale, because KMAS has been there along the way, and we really appreciate your support too in helping us get our message out.
Well, indeed, we do support your efforts and keep it up. Absolutely.
Thanks a lot.
Thank you
All
very
right,
much.
thank you both very much.
It is just about 8 o'clock here. We're going to get to ABC News here in just a moment. After that, we'll have more news for you and have a conversation with Pat Burke this morning. That's just after the news as well. Thanks.
You're listening to Daybreak with Jeff and Dale on KMAS News Radio.
In Los Angeles, the second largest school district in the nation, because of what Superintendent Ramon Cortines calls an electronic threat.
It was it was not to one school, 2 schools, or 3 schools. It was many schools, not specifically identified.
He says there was some detailed information.
Some of the details talked about backpacks, talked about other packages.
But he also says the shutdown was just a precaution in light of the recent San Bernardino shooting, and they're not ruling out the possibility that it was just a hoax. Donald Trump is still the front runner heading into tonight's Las Vegas debate, but this time Ted Cruz is hot on his heels in Iowa polling. Oh, however, ABC's Alex Stone says the other candidates will be clamoring for airtime.
It likely won't be only Trump going after Ted Cruz tonight, who is closing in on Trump's territory, but Marco Rubio, who is now behind Cruz in the polls. He'll likely try to show how his stance is different from Cruz on key topics like immigration as he tries to be the alternative to Trump.
People are enjoying normal weather in the Northeast, and ABC's Ginger Z says it should stick around a while.
This mild and warm pattern is going nowhere. Dozens of record highs broken over the weekend, from Texas up to the Great Lakes. Cleveland hit 70. New York City Central Park was 67. And that jet stream all through next week, we put it in the position it'll be around Christmas, blocking the polar air. It won't block Santa, but it certainly will be much above average.
Was he a terrorist or just trying to trick some? A Maryland man is under arrest for allegedly receiving $9,000 in wired money from terrorists in Syria that investigators believe he was going to use for terrorist operations. He claims he was just scamming them. The Force has finally awakened. The first fans emerging from premieres of the new Star Wars movie, The Force Awakens, say it's much more like the original, focusing on action rather than political struggles. This is ABC News.
Cricket Wireless is here to make your holidays even brighter. Ready, flip the switch! Get a $100 bill credit when you switch to the Merrier carrier before January 7th. Plus, get the Samsung Galaxy Grand Prime for $29.99. Whoa! Santa's definitely going to know where your house is this year. Cricket Wireless, something to smile about.
Offers N1716, offers require not reported and activation on qualified plan and same transaction. First month service charge due with sale. Bill credit requires 2 service payments within 45 days. Credit received within 60 days. Device purchase not required to receive credit. Basic phones excluded. Fees, other charges, and restrictions apply. See store for offer details.
There's a reason why so many celebrities use Proactive. Their faces are their money. And it's time for you to get it because Proactive has set up a special 800 number. For just $19.95, you'll get Proactive and a rotating deep cleansing brush. A $45 value, yours free. For only $19.95, you're guaranteed to get clear and stay clear or your money back. Here's the number, 1-800-644-5944. Call now for a lifetime of beautiful skin. 1-800-644-5944.
It's back to work for Pete Rose, a day after the baseball commissioner rejected his appeal to lift his lifetime ban for betting on the game. More from ABC's Ryan Burrow.
The news sparked heated debates on TV stations and sports talk radio across the country.
Put him in the Hall of Fame, for Pete's sakes. Bookies that have told me that he bet against his own team, which is the cardinal sin in baseball. There's no way they should put that man in the Hall of Fame.
Republican presidential candidate Donald Trump even chimed in on Twitter saying of Rose, he's paid the price, so ridiculous, let him in. Today, Pete Rose will once again go through his daily routine of sitting at a table at Mandalay Bay in Las Vegas, a city known for its gambling, and sign autographs for money. Ryan Burrow, ABC News.
A 12-year-old Florida boy is charged with grand theft auto for allegedly carjacking. Investigators say he was riding a bicycle and told an 89-year-old man in a passing Toyota his tire was low. When the man got out to check, the boy jumped in and drove off. Police say he's been arrested more than 20 times. Karen Chase, ABC News.
Local news is brought to you by Shelton Health and Rehabilitation Center. Find them online at sheltonhealthandrehab.com.
You're listening to KMAS News Radio. I'm Marilyn Foster. A man was fatally shot by the Thurston County Sheriff's SWAT team Sunday night after he allegedly stabbed his cousin, then took his 3-year-old daughter hostage. Deputies were called just after 5:30 p.m. to a residence near Lacey on a report of a stabbing. Deputies arrived and were met by a 27-year-old male who had multiple stab wounds. The victim was conscious and was able to tell deputies that he was assaulted by his cousin, who was still in the residence. The SWAT and hostage negotiation team were called out. At approximately 8:35 p.m., the suspect was shot once by a SWAT marksman due to the immediate concern for the daughter's safety. The child was not injured. The stabbing victim is being treated at Harborview Medical Center. Growth. That is the future economic forecast for the region from a recent expo that brought together decision makers and community leaders from all sectors of business and industry in the region. The recent Regional Economic Forecast and Innovation Expo included representation from Grays Harbor, Lewis, Mason, Pacific, and Thurston counties. Mason County EDC Chair Lynn Longan was there and told Daybreak that even though the area has suffered some significant job losses, there is some growth potential because of Sierra Pacific. She said there are companies that have contracts with them who are looking to relocate here because they want to be closer to Sierra Pacific. How do citizens feel about the economy around Shelton and Mason County? According to Lynn Longan, the outlook is good. The Mason County EDC recently did a consumer confidence survey. It was paid for by Pack Mountain Workforce Development Council. While the majority of those surveyed agreed that the labor conditions right now are bad, there were plenty of good signs from the survey.
St. Martin's College and some volunteers made phone calls to people in town, and they asked them questions like, how likely are you to buy a house, or do you think it's a good idea? 53% said it's good time to buy a house right now. 37% say they're going to buy major appliances. 31% said it's a good time to buy a new car. Family income in 6 months, 53% are neutral, and 26% think that it's going to get better and that it's good.
It's the first time the county has done a survey like this, and they'll continue to do them so that there will be year-to-year comparisons in the future. See the full interview with Lynn on the Daybreak page at KMAS.com. Tonight is the final Republican presidential debate of the year. Both the main debate and an earlier undercard debate featuring 4 lower polling candidates will air live here. Donald Trump continues to lead the way in national polls, but is being closely trailed by Texas Senator Ted Cruz. Listen to our live broadcast on KMAS AM 1030, FM 103.3, or online at KMAS.com. I'm Mary Lynn Foster, your local news at AM 1030 and FM 103.3, and always on KMAS.com.
Habitat for Humanity of Mason County wants to thank their generous donors for their contributions this year and want to remind you there's more work to be done in 2016. Habitat for Humanity of Mason County will be sending out letters requesting financial support from you. Be watching for those letters to arrive in the mail and consider donating your dollars to help Habitat for Humanity's mission of providing affordable housing and home rehabilitation to those in need. Wishing you and your family the happiest of holidays. Habitat for Humanity of Mason County.
13 to shoot. Looking for Griffin. Can't find him. 11 to shoot. Finally gets it to him at the foul circle. He's doubled. The open player on the right wing is Crawford for 3 in the lead. Oh, he did it! 105-102. Sweet string music here in Motown.
Brian Seaman had the call on KFWB in Los Angeles. The Clippers held off the Pistons 105-103. Elsewhere, the San Antonio Spurs dominated the Utah Jazz 118-81. The Memphis Grizzlies beat the Washington Wizards 112-95. Dallas, Miami, Denver, Orlando, and Indianapolis also won. The Philadelphia 76ers did not win Monday. They fell to a league worst 1-25 after a 19-point loss to the Chicago Bulls. On Monday, Major League Baseball Commissioner Rob Manfred decided not to reinstate all-time hits leader Pete Rose. Rose was banned for life in 1989 for gambling on games. On the ice, the Sabres beat the Red Wings 2-1. The Lightning defeated Columbus by the same score. Washington thrashed Pittsburgh 4-1. Ottawa beat LA 5-3, and the Oilers outlasted the Bruins 3-2 in overtime. Dave Packer, ABC Sports.
For News Radio 1030 KMAS Shelton, FM 103.3 and online, audio and video this morning, KMAS.com. I'm Dale Hubbard. It is 9 minutes past 8 o'clock. Bryce Brown has been brought back into the fold. Marshawn Lynch is off-site, and the Seahawks are scrambling to deal with their issues at running back. Thomas Rawls, as you know by now, season-ending ankle fracture. Sunday's 35-6 win over Baltimore. Marshawn Lynch recovering from a serious abdominal surgery that took place the week of Thanksgiving. So it's only 3 weeks or so ago. The Seahawks looking for ways to fill the void. Brown being the latest candidate brought into camp. The hope is Lynch will eventually be back to play again, but this is kind of an unknown thing. He's rehabbing, he's off-site, he's doing what he can do. First of all, you got to get back in shape.
Yeah.
If you've ever had surgery, you know how tender the muscle tissue is, and as it heals. And then after that, you've got to be in football shape. Now, maybe nobody is better at being in football shape than Marshawn Lynch. Is like a human cylinder or steel cylinder or something. I don't know. But anyway, it's still a long shot in my mind that he'll be back in time for the playoffs.
I wouldn't even play him until the playoffs. Even if he was ready, the risk is so great.
Correct. And if we can win the next 2 games for sure, we're locked into a playoff slot. Even if it costs us a seed to not have a premier running back, I still think the way the passing game is going right now, the way the defense is playing right now, and the way the special teams are playing right now, hate to say that the running back isn't a critical element of all this. Certainly it is. But, we're mustering 100 yards rushing one way or the other by hook or crook with replacements. Let's just keep it going and preserve Marshawn when you really need the hammer and have him ready to hammer when he gets out there and not be tentative. You can't do that. So a lot of things going around in the Seahawk camp. Fred Jackson got some additional carries in Baltimore, probably get a few extra the next couple of weeks as well, but primarily a third down running back for that, third and short, or if it's third and long, he's a good blocking back, but he doesn't play in the first down or second down usually, and that's where we had Thomas Rawls, and that's where we had Marshawn Lynch. So right now, we'll work with Bryce Brown, who is here, and of course we got a lot of work out of DeJuan Harris last week, and he's in camp and he'll stay with the team, and he actually did a pretty commendable job for having only been with the team for a short period of time. So those are the things that are going on over at Seahawkville. Meanwhile, locally here, we have some great high school basketball coverage for you coming up tomorrow night and Friday. It is live video coverage of the lady climbers and the boy climbers. The high school boys are taking on Mount Tahoma tomorrow night. Live stream begins just before 7. And then Friday night, the girls take center stage against Central Kitsap. So Jeff and I will be there for both of those this week as we travel to the Mini Dome.
The games will be great.
Yes.
The broadcasts of the game.
Did I say a great broadcast?
You sure did.
Yeah, well, I don't know about the broadcast itself being so over the top. The games will be fun.
We're going to have a fun time tomorrow night. So you're going to do like the first quarter.
Yes.
And then I'm going to do the second.
Yes.
And then third and fourth.
I'm going to run the camera.
Woo!
So, woohoo! You guys better hang on to your seats.
It'll be something fun.
Put on your 3D glasses. And put on your funny nose and glasses too here. So
something.
All right, it'll be fun. That's sports. Oh, I was going to ask you the question: who do you want to play, Philly, Dallas, or New York Giants?
Not the Giants.
First round of the playoffs.
I'll play anybody but the Giants. Okay. I'm a fan. South Sound forecast and a good morning to you. 31 right now and 4:22 this evening. We'll see the sunset. Looking good today, looking good tomorrow. Thursday, though, about 1.5 inches of rain is likely. And more rain.
Yeah. The weather's quite cold.
Yeah, and it is cold.
Did we get surprised with this little?
It may, in the higher elevations, you could see a dusting of snow if you're out walking up at the Lake Cushman area,
thought
perhaps.
I'd throw it out there.
I'm seeing lowlands, and that's us, 200 feet and so. Christmas Eve may see a little dusting. Around here, that's a white Christmas.
It's Daybreak with Jeff and Dale on KMAS News Radio. Join the guys as they talk with neighbors, newsmakers, and each other, getting your day off to the absolute best possible start in the history of mornings. Connect with Jeff and Dale through the KMAS listener line, by email or Facebook. Now, from somewhere in the wilderness of the Olympic Peninsula, Daybreak with Jeff and Dale.
All right. Good morning to you. It is Daybreak here, KMAS and KMAS.com.
8:14. Pat Burke is out front getting ready to come in, talk to us about the request of the county to address issues of abatement and jail space.
That sounds like a plan. We'll have that conversation today at 2. We'll jump down to Las Vegas for a debate for you. Starts at 2. I think it kind of gets underway, though, 3-ish. There's a little bit of a pre-show.
A little pre-function.
With Hugh Hewitt and Dana Bash. No, I think it's Hugh Hewitt and his gang at the Salem Radio Network. They've teamed up with CNN again. We're happy to have the debate for you. This Saturday, the demo debate from 5 to 8. And then directly following that, we jump to Gonzaga basketball.
Okay.
So that's the schedule for the rest of the week. And, they are really kind of ratcheting down the availability of these debates. I had anticipated us full access to all of these. And I believe we missed one. Debate.
Right, we
talking
did.
About debates.
We did miss a debate.
And they did not offer it on the radio. If it is available on the radio, I will do my darndest to put it on the air for you to get that information out there. Good to know. Oh, jeez. We're a year away from our elections going on. I hope you're tuned in this morning.
You know, a true pro doesn't lose his train of thought.
No,
even though his
and I almost
dropped about 12 inches here in the last 3 seconds.
Very short. All right, we'll take a break right now. And when we come back, we'll have Pat Burke in lobby in studio with us, and we'll take care of some things.
What do you want for Santa Claus, little boy?
I just want some Red Ryder BB gun. It's 8:17 at KMAS.
You're listening to Daybreak with Jeff and Dale on KMAS News Radio.
Are you tired of commuting to a job that makes someone else rich, working harder than ever, but getting nowhere? Do you hate spending hundreds of dollars every week on daycare, having someone else raise your children? With our opportunities, you can start earning money as soon as next week. You get to be the boss, work from home, and live a happier life. At Be the Boss Network, you'll find hundreds of work-from-home opportunities that you can literally start today and be earning money as soon as next week. Go to freedom31.com and start earning money as soon as next week. You get to be the boss. Get out of the rat race. Work from home. Go to freedom31.com right now and change your life today. That's freedom31.com. Go to freedom31.com and start earning money as soon as next week. You be the boss. Go to freedom31.com.
This is the sound of crispy bacon. This is the sound of pepper bacon. And this is the sound of Canadian bacon. And this is the sound of Papa Murphy's Bacon Pizza. You know why you don't hear anything? It was delicious. Bring home a large Papa Murphy's signature bacon pizza, topped with crispy, pepper, and Canadian bacon. Just $12. Try it as a fresh pan for just $1 more. Fresh made, fresh baked, fresh craving. Papa Murphy's. Love at 425 degrees.
Hi, this is Mason County Commissioner Tim Sheldon. You're listening to Daybreak with Jeff and Dale.
All right, good morning to you. It's 8:18 here at KMAS. About 10 minutes from now, we'll check the morning stock numbers, but we've got guests in studio, Dale.
Yeah, we want to introduce and welcome to the Daybreak studio, Pat Burke. Hi, Pat.
Hi, how you doing?
Doing well. If you get just an inch or two closer to that microphone, there you go.
There.
We are doing audio and video this morning on the website, so you're all over the world today.
Well, I don't photograph well.
That's all right.
Neither do we.
It's all right. Very good. Give us first of all, who are you?
Well, I'm a local business guy. I have a small business up on the Golden Pheasant Road. I manufacture molded automotive replacement seat cushions for the restoration market. I've been doing that for about 29 years, and I've been here since 1991.
Okay. All right. So you're established small businessman here in the community, and you are here this morning to talk about a recent press release and a request of the county by you to address some of these issues of abatement and jail space. So the dais is yours, sir.
Okay, well, I've attended several meetings, one workshop. I have talked with the commissioners, and I'm kind of alarmed at the amount of money that we're seeing being requested by the county bureaucracy. Last year, they asked for a whopping 15%, and the only commissioner that really that I know of that didn't like the idea and told the county people that, they need to look at ways to cut back. They didn't cut back, and the other two commissioners voted for it and outvoted the one commissioner, and they got the 15 through. Now this year,
that's a 15% increase.
Yes, sir. This year they're coming back for another 19%. So let's just round it off to say 20%. If they come back every year for 20%, within 5 years, we're talking about doubling people's property taxes, and we're basically, I can tell you, I've been poorly served, certainly by the Mason County Sheriff's Department up to this point, that we're getting nothing for it. I mean, zero, zip. And now the Mason County Sheriff's, this is quite alarming. The amount of money that the Sheriff's Department is asking for is like $4.3 million, which, let's see, what did they say? About 900,000 of that goes for 16, I think, new cars and about $100,000 worth of new radios, which they got to have that. I would never begrudge a police department that. But there's the issue now of about another $3.3 million, and I haven't heard anything, at least at the one workshop or the commission meetings that I've been at. I haven't heard anything specifically about where that money is really going to go to. I know that there's been a report that the sheriff is asking for a $30,000 a year pay increase, which I would say, well, when he ran for that office, he sure knew what the job paid, and to ask for $30,000 more dollars without a tremendous increase in his responsibilities, I certainly wouldn't be for that. I don't think most taxpayers would be for that.
20% increase, 20% this year. Where is the money going to come from?
Well, I think where it's going to come from, the same place it's always come from. People like you guys who probably own homes and property out here. That's where it seems to come from. Property taxes. We're paying rates out here. I think that you'd be paying in Renton or Bellevue anymore. I've got a small, I got a 12,000 square foot building up on the Golden Pheasant Road, and my property taxes every year are $6,300 a year. In 5 more years, it's going to be $12,000 a year at the rate they're going. Right now, with my home and my business, I'm paying Mason County $10,000 a year in taxes, and I'm getting zippo, as far as I'm concerned. When you call for a police officer, there's a problem. Unless you say, shots fired or something, you may not even see a cop.
So we heard you on the news a couple weeks ago talking about driving by some, the term is like dilapidated buildings, and it's an abatement issue, and this is one of your big contentions.
There's two of my big, this all goes hand in hand. The first thing is what you'll see in the ad that I had published in the Mason County Journal, is that we are in the middle of a drug-fueled crime wave. Heroin out here is pervasive. We're losing a whole generation of young people to this crap. It's terrible. And but the facts are the facts. The problem's here. We got to do something about it, because the main job, I feel, of the county commissioners is to protect the health and safety of the people that elect them. Mm-hmm. We have to start finding a way to arrest when they commit crimes, hold and prosecute these people for the crimes that they commit. And I've heard the Mason County Sheriff himself say that he thinks he needs something in the order of about 100 beds. Additional beds to what they have now to really start cracking down on the crime out here. And I've proposed to the county that we have land all over the place up here that's owned by the port. We've got an airport sitting there doing little or nothing, and we've got vacant land out on the Johns Prairie Road still. I don't know why we can't do something and the example I used at the time was Sheriff Joe Arpaio down in Maricopa County, Arizona, has a great idea. We'd have to adapt it to fit our needs. I don't think we can put people in army tents in these kind of climates up here, but we need a temporary /temporary retention center, and I suggested doing it with shipping containers. They convert shipping containers now into really pretty nice livable quarters for people, where we can detain these people if they can't bail out, and a lot of them, especially the drug addicts, where are they going to give money for bail, half of them? And so we're going to have to maintain and keep these folks on hand until they can be prosecuted, and then once they're prosecuted, if they're given jail sentences, they have to have a place where they can stay until there's a bed that opens up in Walla Walla or someplace for them, and where that they can be housed by the state of Washington. That's one of the things that has to happen, along with the abatement comes along really after that. Really, on the Golden Pheasant Road out here, we have 2 places that are just absolute holes. One of them has no the residents of the Doug's Junkyard used to be up there, the yellow house up there, that there's no electricity in the building. There's no running water. It means there's no flushing toilets. The people that have been using the place as a shooting gallery have been, for no better word, defecating all over the property next door. I have shown photos of that to the health department, which have done nothing about it. We have another place down the street that still has running water, but they have a little more money to deal with because they're actually dealing drugs down there. They're kind of like the local Walmart of heroin down the street. So they buy the dope down the street. This is all right next door to the old Golden Pheasant Tavern location. And they buy their dope there. Then they go up to the Yellow House and use it for a shooting gallery.
So why haven't, in your opinion, the sheriff's done anything to fix this in that specific area?
Well, in some conversations I had with an officer that reported out there to one of our, well, it wasn't our call, my neighbor called, told me that they're in a position where they have to be careful not to violate these people's rights. Evidently, they have the right to, to create crime, to break in and steal and so forth. They seem to have a problem with not wanting to, get themselves in a position where some officer's going to be accused of violating some junkie's rights. It's a sad situation, and like I say, a lot of the reasons too that they don't want to pick people up, take them in, is because they got no place to hold them. We had a theft across the street at this junkyard. The junkyard has 3 different plots of property. The one plot has the house with the problem people in is one plot, and then the junkyard is a whole other separate entity. It was owned by another guy. That guy had a track hoe in there. It was about an $18,000 piece of equipment. And they have alleged that one of the guys that lives in the house put an ad in Craigslist and sold it to a guy in Olympia, Tumwater. And the guy came out and found his machine gone. They knew what had happened. They were pretty sure what had happened to it. They just didn't know where it went. The machine has been recovered. And I understand, in fact, as of today, I have to pick up a copy of the report of that particular incident at the Mason County Sheriff's Department. They just told me yesterday it's ready to pick up. But when it was first called in, the 2 officers that responded to the call were there with the man that owned the track hoe, and the police officer told one of the people that were living in the house, "How much other stuff do you have of this guy's? You have more, don't you?" "Well, yeah." And he said, "Well, bring it out." And the guy went and got a wheelbarrow and started bringing stuff out by the wheelbarrow. And there was over $600 or $700 worth of stuff. And the man that owned the track says, "No, okay, that's a felony. Arrest these guys." And the police officers said, "No." He says, "Just take your stuff back." He says they'll only be out in an hour or out in 2 hours. So that's kind of one of the situations we got. They know that if they bring somebody in, they're going to get kicked.
So county commission meetings are Tuesdays. Today's a Tuesday.
That's correct.
So at 9:00, you're going to be over there to talk about this again, and you've been at county commission meetings weekly to bring this up.
My only concern is I've had some conversations with several people in the area that are involved in local media here, and they told me that I should expect that there's going to be a lot of apathy towards this. I just can't see. I think that the crime out here is starting to just about affect everybody. Who hasn't had a chainsaw stolen or a door kicked in anymore out here? It's really getting to where it's pervasive. And the thing that I'm concerned is if we don't do something about it pretty soon, it's going to start, maybe we're going to start seeing some regular home invasions where people are held at gunpoint and robbed or assaulted.
Right. Yeah. Well, that is certainly a concern to have. And, I think there's an underlying financial situation here that needs to be addressed. And part of it is the economy of our county has been tough for 7 or 8 years. And so hence the operating budget of the entities has been handcuffed a little bit. Hopefully we're on the road to recovery and we're going the right direction with all this. Every day I scratch my head and I wonder where the money's going to come from, but there is no doubt that there needs to be more funding for services for the population. And I think the magic that is being done with the financing is all to try to stop leaks in the dike.
That's correct.
And it's a hard thing to get ahead of. And it's a tough battle ahead for that. So
there's some heavy lifting that needs to be done by our commissioners. I guess there's no better word than that for it. And I have told them that they need to start thinking outside of the box. There's revenue opportunities here in this county that won't affect the regular rank and file taxpayer. That's a subject for another radio program. I'd love to talk with them about that. But there are ways to do this, and there's ways to get some growth going in this county, and nobody wants to address it. There's too many bureaucratic sacred cows, I believe, that are trying to protect themselves here. Like if an example, what in the world is Mason County doing in the port business? Do you see any hands in containers, ships down here loading and unloading in Oakland Bay? What do we do in owning a marina? What's that about?
Well,
we have an airport up here that they take money from the federal government for, and they've taken that money and they've put gas lines, water lines, sewer lines, and the only growth that I have ever seen happen up here since 1991 is when they put in those incubator buildings, and most of them sat vacant until the pot law went through, and now they're full. You know, I would tell the Mason County, especially the port commissioners and the commissioners, that we need to petition the federal government and ask them if we can develop, it's already developed, but sell the properties that are that are outside of the airport, outside of the fenced area for industrial growth, and return the money to the federal government short of the real estate commissions.
Yeah, opens another can of worms, Pat, and we have to get you off.
Okay.
But that's infrastructure problems, and they have a hard time getting tenants in, even if they've got available spots. So we'll have this conversation again. Thank you for coming by.
Love to talk to you.
Again, the county commission meeting starts in about a half an hour, and it is 411 North 5th Street. Please stop by, make your voice heard. You'll see Pat there as well, and thank you for coming in.
Thank you very much for having me.
All right, Pat Burke, thank you.
Guys.
All right, talk to you soon.
It's 8:31 here at KMAS, and we're going to jump now to the phones and see from Edward Jones. Karen Shade's on the line. Hello.
Good morning. How are you? I'm doing good.
Hi, Karen.
Hello.
What's up with Wall Street?
Well, U.S. stocks are gaining this morning as a rebound in crude oil overshadows credit market turbulence before the expectation that the Federal Reserve will raise interest rates tomorrow. In economic news, manufacturing activity in the New York area declined by less than expected, and inflation was relatively flat in November. Treasuries declined at the open amid anticipation the Fed will raise interest rates for the first time in nearly a decade on Wednesday. So far this morning in the S&P 500, the best performing sector is financials, while the worst performing sector is industrials. The Dow Jones Industrial Average is up 182 points at 17,551. The Standard & Poor's 500 Index is up 25 points at 2,046. And the NASDAQ Composite Index is up 54 points at 5,006. This morning volume on the New York Stock Exchange is moderate, with 244 million shares being traded, and advances are outnumbering decliners by roughly 4-to-1 margin. In the commodity markets, the spot price of gold is up $1.15 to $1,061. The spot price of silver is up 7 cents to $13.74, and crude oil prices are up 46 cents to $36.77. In the bond markets, the 30-year Treasury yield is currently 3.01%, and the 10-year Treasury yield is 2.27%. Stocks of local interest: Amazon is up $10.68, Costco is down 46 cents, Boeing is up $2.80, Starbucks is up 48 cents, and Microsoft is up 10 cents. This is Karen Shade of Edward Jones, member SIPC, serving individual investors with personalized attention and long-term financial advice. I'm located at 1051 Southeast State Route 3 in Shelton. And if you'd like additional information, you can contact me at 426-4590. And daily commentary is also located on our website at edwardjones.com.
You're listening to Daybreak with Jeff and Dale on KMAS News Radio.
Local news is brought to you by Fred Holmes Tree Service. FredHolmesTreeService.com, 427-4489.
You're listening to KMAS News Radio. I'm Marilyn Foster. A man was fatally shot by the Thurston County Sheriff's SWAT team Sunday night after he allegedly stabbed his cousin, then took his 3-year-old daughter hostage. Deputies were called just after 5:30 p.m. to a residence near Lacey on a report of a stabbing. Deputies arrived and were met by a 27-year-old male who had multiple stab wounds. The victim was conscious and was able to tell deputies that he was assaulted by his cousin, who was still in the residence. The SWAT and hostage negotiation team were called out. At approximately 8:35 p.m., the suspect was shot once by a SWAT marksman due to the immediate concern for the daughter's safety. The child was not injured. The stabbing victim is being treated at Harborview Medical Center. Growth. That is the future economic forecast for the region from a recent expo that brought together decision makers and community leaders from all sectors of business and industry in the region. The recent Regional Economic Forecast and Innovation Expo included representation from Grays Harbor, Lewis, Mason, Pacific, and Thurston counties. Mason County EDC Chair Lynn Longan was there and told Daybreak that even though the area has suffered some significant job losses, there is some growth potential because of Sierra Pacific. She said there are companies that have contracts with them who are looking to relocate here because they want to be closer to Sierra Pacific. How do citizens feel about the economy around Shelton and Mason County? According to Lynn Longan, the outlook is good. The Mason County EDC recently did a consumer confidence survey. It was paid for by Pack Mountain Workforce Development Council. While the majority of those surveyed agreed that the labor conditions right now are bad, there were plenty of good signs from the survey.
St. Martin's College and some volunteers made phone calls to people in town, and they asked them questions like, how likely are you to buy a house, or do you think it's a good idea? 53% said it's good time to buy a house right now. 37% say they're going to buy major appliances. 31% said it's a good time to buy a new car. Family income in 6 months, 53% are neutral and 26% think that it's going to get better and that it's good.
It's the first time the county has done a survey like this, and they'll continue to do them so that there will be year-to-year comparisons in the future. See the full interview with Lynn on the Daybreak page at KMAS.com. Tonight is the final Republican presidential debate of the year. Both the main debate and an earlier undercard debate featuring 4 lower polling candidates will air live here. Donald Trump continues to lead the way in national polls, but is being closely trailed by Texas Senator Ted Cruz. Listen to our live broadcast on KMAS AM 1030, FM 103.3, or online at KMAS.com. I'm Mary Lynn Foster, your local news at AM 1030 and FM 103.3, and always on KMAS.com.
I'm attorney Harold Carr. During the past 25 years, more than 8,000 people have trusted me to handle their personal injury cases. I understand how an injury can disrupt your life and cause financial hardship for you and your family. At the law firm of Harold Carr, we have 5 attorneys and 19 staff members experienced with negotiating and litigating with insurance companies. So if you feel the insurance company is not dealing with you fairly, call me, Harold Carr. Let us deal with the insurance company so you won't have to.
Car accident? Call Carr or visit us online at haroldcarrattorney.com.
If you're first to arrive at the scene of an accident, PUD number 3 reminds you to pull over and put on your emergency flasher to help warn oncoming traffic. Check the condition of the victims, and in most cases, it's not wise to try to move them. A safe driving reminder from PUD number 3.
Hold onto your steering wheel firmly during the winter driving season. Castle and Coleman Logging says don't attempt large turns. A light touch should be used to correct swerves. Castle and Coleman Logging reminds you that safe winter driving requires extra attention and extra care.
For News Radio 1030 KMAS Shelton, FM 103.3, and we are streaming audio and video this morning on KMAS.com, everyone. How are you? 8:38 Tuesday morning, the midway point of December. These are the Ides of December. And we are 10 days away from Christmas.
Yeah.
9 days away from Christmas Eve,
and
which Jeff is calling for a white Christmas Eve.
Some snow.
We'll get to the weather in a moment. Seahawks running backs are out. So what to do? Well, Wilson's been throwing the ball better than anybody in NFL history the last 4 games. Seriously. Do we continue with the Air Wilson experiment here and just let him keep on tossing the ball?
You know, like they were saying on all these pre-games, when Peyton's healthy, are they going to bring him back? Well, after Osweiler's terrible game, maybe they do. But if things are trending in a way,
right,
you do not want to rock the horse.
You just keep going with it, right? Until, another part of Seattle Seahawks mentality is we're going to keep doing this until you stop it. In fact, we're not fancy, not a whole bunch of complex schemes, which, like the New England Patriots, are always complex schemes. And
right.
But Seattle is just like, it's in your face. It's run first and we'll pass and our quarterback can scramble and we're going to do all this stuff. You know it's coming. We know it's coming. But our guys are going to outplay your guys. But we have to change that a little bit, I think, with our running back situation. I am impressed with the offensive line's improvement. So let's see. Can we put them to one more level up where we pass first and run second for the next couple of weeks? Get us through this timid time when we have to get our legs under us for these running backs. Someone will come to the surface.
Mm-hmm.
They always do. So very interesting time for Seattle. A little nervous. I'm a little nervous because we don't have a premier running back, but frankly, when Marshawn Lynch went down, I was going like, oh my, I know this Thomas Rawls is good, but can he replace Marshawn Lynch?
Yeah.
I was pleasantly surprised to find out
Apparently
that yes, and in fact he could. So who knows? You know, I mean, all these guys, they get a different change of scenery. Bryce Brown is back. Maybe he's the answer. Who knows? We'll find out. Let's shift our attention real quickly to baseball, as there is a new Mariner, a right-hander by the name of Steve Cishek. Comes from the Cardinals from St. Louis.
Okay.
And Mariners have filled their need for a proven closer.
Oh. Whatever happened to Kazuhiro Sasaki? That was a while ago, I think.
My word, yeah. I have no answer for you. And there's so many people that keep being acquired by the Mariners. It seems like they're the clearinghouse of all players who have been, that are just out there wandering around that have some experience. Come on over, we'll give you a look.
Well, there's no limit right now. You can have 100,000 people
Well,
on the
apparently
team.
that's what the Seattle's going for a record.
Gonna whittle it down.
I'll tell you one thing, it'll be fun. Spring training this year.
Yeah.
Man, there'll be some tough competition to make that roster. And lots of new people.
And that usually then means good.
Usually. Well, it's also a big test for our new manager.
Mm-hmm.
So we'll see if he can coach because he's going to have his choice of lots of players. His job is to put the right ones in the right place at the right time.
That's
just a simple job.
That's exactly the job. Yeah, it's simple.
No worries there. All right. St. Martin's close, but no cigar against the Gonzaga Bulldogs last night in Spokane. And 86-50 the final last night. St. Martin's, they did okay in the first half. Gonzaga start to leg out there towards the end of the first half, and then just put the pedal to the metal in the second half.
Mm-hmm.
Outgunned and outmanned the smaller school from St. Martin's. But still fun to have the two schools and the two cultures clash here.
Yeah, for sure.
Last night. And that is sports. Now I'm done.
Well, Dale prefaced sports with a wintry weather forecast, and you betcha. 31 right now, freezing fog, 45 the high today. No rain, fortunately. Tomorrow, 42 and about 0.2 of an inch of rain. Thursday, 1.5 inches. That other 0.5 inch comes Friday and Saturday and Sunday, and lots of rain over the next 10 days.
So our weekend's washed out?
Yes.
Well, there goes the chance for me to put up yard decorations.
You would have done that anyway?
No.
Thursday, December
my chance
24. Thursday, December 24,
right.
a.k.a. Christmas Eve, a.k.a. show day for us. I see some potential for snow here in our levels of elevation. But that's 10 days away. But still, maybe a white Christmas Eve.
It's Daybreak with Jeff and Dale on KMAS News Radio. Join the guys as they talk with neighbors, newsmakers, and each other, getting your day off to the absolute best possible start in the history of mornings. Connect with Jeff and Dale through the KMAS listener line, by email or Facebook. Now, from the capital of the great state of Washington, Daybreak with Jeff and Dale.
You should have copyrighted that.
Another $1 million idea,
right through the fingertips. Mark it up there with pet insurance. All right, good morning to you. It is Daybreak at KMAS, AM 1030 and FM 103.3. A reminder, about 15 minutes away from the county commissioner meeting, and we'd love to see you out there and expressing yourself on either side of any of the issues that they'll talk about. We just had Pat Burke in to talk about some of the problems that he is seeing in the county and some possible solutions, and he'll be talking again in front of the county here in just a little bit. Encourage you to do the same. It's in downtown Shelton on North 5th Street.
That's where the commissioner chambers have been for quite some time. So just, go hang around by all the county buildings and ask them where the commissioner's chambers are, and they'll be happy to direct you with two fingers. It's over that way.
This way.
And around that corner.
This way.
Up those stairs.
Up those stairs.
All right, show of hands. How many from 1982 remember the Red Eye Express on KTAC in Tacoma? Everybody?
I listen to it nightly. That helped me fall asleep as a wee one.
We'll take a quick break. It's 8:45. We're gonna.
You remember that? Call me right now.
You're gonna live the country life now. Or
You're listening to Daybreak with Jeff and Dale on KMAS News Radio.
Taylor Shellfish is a proud sponsor of the Environmentally Sound program. For 5 generations, the Taylor family's been stewards of a healthy and prosperous Puget Sound. In partnership with nature, Taylor Shellfish brings you the freshest, most sustainable shellfish you'll ever eat. Visit their store at 136 Southeast Lynch Road. Open daily from 10 to 6, and they're online at TaylorShellfishFarms.com.
At Lucky Eagle Casino and Hotel, we like to say we always have room in our hearts.
And that's certainly true right now during our Gift of Giving hotel special.
Bring in a non-perishable food item or toy for charity and stay in a standard room for just $69 per night.
The offer is good Mondays through Fridays in December, so plan a winter getaway with us.
Lucky Eagle Casino and Hotel, I-5 to exit 88 Rochester, Washington, where you belong. Reservations required. Details at luckyeagle.com.
Mason County Garbage and Recycling on Johns Prairie here in Shelton is pleased to offer safe and efficient removal services. Mason County Garbage and Recycling is always mindful of environmental standards and is continuously striving for the highest excellence. Mason County Garbage and Recycling, upholding your trust within the community. Questions? Call 426-8729. In Belfair, 275-4590.
George and Olene Steele believes Christmas is the best time of year. For them, it's a time for enjoying friends and family, for spreading cheer and goodwill, and for sending warmest wishes to special people like you. Merry Christmas. Happy New Year from George and Olene Steele.
Ascend Roofing hopes that you and your loved ones will enjoy the special gifts of the season, the gift of love, the gift of peace, the gift of happiness. Ascend Roofing hopes this will be your best Christmas ever.
Whitney Chevrolet says if you have an auto accident during bad weather, remain calm, wait for help to come, remain dry, and conserve your energy. You know, it's usually safer to stay in your vehicle, which provides shelter to you during the bad weather. A safe driving tip from Whitney Chevrolet.
The Lucky Eagle Casino says, before you start up that car, be sure you've thoroughly scraped and cleaned all of your car's windows, headlights, tail lights, and turn signals. In wintertime, the Lucky Eagle Casino reminds you it's wise to see and be seen.
Hi, this is Mike Michael, city engineer for the city of Shelton, and you're listening to Daybreak with Jeff and Dale on KMAS News Radio.
I know, missed it this time. All right, good morning to you, Daybreak, Jeff and Dale. Yesterday we had Lynn Longan on the air, and we talked about the Economic Regional Expo that was at the Great Wolf Lodge, and she brought in this nice little pamphlet with information. You heard her in the news with Marilyn Foster. We'll continue throughout the day. EDC doing good stuff around these parts.
One of my favorite, Jeff.
Yeah.
Favorite funny people. Tim Conway.
Yeah?
82 today. Happy birthday to him. Don Johnson.
Wait, is he Dorf?
Yes.
Yeah.
He's Dorf. He was ensign somebody on McHale's Navy.
Now, how come...
Ensign Parker.
So, Tim Conway and the other guy...
Harvey Korman.
Were
Carol Burnett.
Great folks that worked together.
Oh, yeah. Played off of each other tremendously. They always cracked Harvey Korman up.
I cannot think of a movie, though, that Tim Conway... I'm just trying to go with Mel Brooks here.
Right.
So Harvey Korman was Hedy Lamarr in Blazing Saddles. Hedley.
Tim Conway didn't do a lot of big screen. Not that he didn't do any, but he didn't do a lot. He was more of the television.
Oh, my gosh. The Private Eyes with Don Knotts and Tim Conway. I remember watching
You remember that
movie.
one?
1980.
And I think he was in the gang that couldn't shoot straight or something.
Yeah. Did the TV show McHale's Navy, all those Dorf movies.
Yeah.
I remember those Dorf ones.
Private
Those were
Eyes
so
was
funny. Apple Dumpling Gang.
Apple Dumpling Gang is what I was
Classics.
thinking of.
I loved the Apple Dumpling Gang as a kid, watching those.
I still,
Shaggy DA.
every once in a while, they'll roll out the Carol Burnett collection and try to sell it, Time Life or somebody, and they do the shows, excerpts.
They're so good.
Oh, man. I laughed till I cry watching
You were
those.
just watching something else funny the other day.
I was.
The Sammy Javis Jr. roast.
Yes.
With Don Rickles and Dean Martin.
Oh, yeah. You couldn't begin
I love those
any
roasts.
of these roasts on TV today.
Well, I don't know. Have you watched any of the current ones with Jeffrey Ross?
I have not. No.
They're pretty blue.
I'd like to watch them. Where do you find those?
Comedy Central.
Really?
Yeah.
Oh, I like celebrity roasts. I enjoy them.
Yeah.
I like
and they
those.
are very blue.
Man, I like that. That's good.
Who else is having a birthday?
Well, Don Johnson, Nash Bridges.
Yeah, Nash
and he was also the Miami Vice Crocker.
Crockett and Tubbs.
And Tubbs. He was Crockett.
Yeah.
And he was also Melanie Griffith's husband, wasn't he, in real life?
Mm-hmm.
Don Johnson, 66 today.
Got nothing except for Alan Freed, you old timers.
Yeah, well, hey, pioneer rock first top 40 DJ.
Yeah.
He coined the phrase rock and roll. Rock and roll.
Mm-hmm.
Died penniless after a payola scandal ruined his career.
What is payola for folks who aren't familiar with it?
Payola was the record labels paying the DJs to play their songs on the radio. That's a simple, quick definition of what payola was and is.
Interesting.
Oh, man.
That was a big deal, huh?
We're almost ready to retire with all the money we're getting now.
I'm sure. Oh, we are right now?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. This is also the...
Wait, did you ever know anybody who was involved in that? So you were kind of on the... When did they stop doing the payola thing? If he died in 65...
I'm not sure that they've ever stopped.
Okay.
You know, I mean, there wasn't like okay, now we're not doing it anymore. Nobody ever just said this is the end of it.
So when you were in broadcast school, I would imagine your instructor was the DJ during those times. Did he ever talk about it?
Yeah.
About it?
It's against the law.
Yeah.
Don't do it.
I know, but like stories of parties that the record
when I got into business, everybody I met that had been in it for, 5 years or more beyond me had stories.
Oh, they all had stories.
Oh.
Oh, man. Before you got in, it was
back in the day.
Wild, Wild West.
Although we didn't say back in the day. but they meant back in the day.
Sure.
Yeah. Yeah. Oh, those were the days. The late Clyde McPhatter from the Drifters. It's a lover's question. Born on this date, 1932, as is Nudie Cohen's birth date. Now, you may not know the name Nudie Cohen. She was born on this date, 1902, but you certainly are familiar with the fancy-dancy rhinestone cowboy suits that all the Western stars, 40s and 50s and 60s, to this day, like a rhinestone cowboy, right? She's the one that designed and brought the rhinestone suit to prominence.
That's crazy.
Hank Williams, Porter Wagner were the first ones that were legitimately the rhinestone guys. And then, it just carried on as a tradition to this day.
So you're saying that someone named Nudie was famous for clothing?
Yes. Which is a little bit of a... I mean, I don't know if Nudie is short for something.
It says Nuda Koitolarenko. Professionally known as Nudie Cohen, a Ukrainian-born American tailor.
Ukrainian names.
Nuta is the original. Nuta, N-U-T-A.
And it takes
shortened to Nudie.
Nudie, which probably fit better.
Huh.
I have never
I
heard of
love
anybody named
those suits.
Nudie.
I haven't either.
No, those suits are they're tremendous. That separated a true country artist from the guys that was just doing the beer halls.
Right.
If you had a rhinestone suit on,
you're good to go.
You had made it.
You had made it.
Or you were just some daft, crazy person walking down the street with a rhinestone suit on. But you can thank Nudie Cohen for that. That for today is your lesson, kids. And then Alan Freed, of course, rock and roll. We would have never had the phrase rock and roll, which seems hard to believe.
Yeah, do you believe that?
What kind of a world would this be? I was thinking about if we had lived in a Mitt Romney world this morning on my way in.
Oh.
What if Mitt
do
Romney?
that?
What if Mitt Romney would have been president for the last 7 years?
Yeah.
It just flashed on me as we were coming in. I was coming in this morning listening to the news.
So hard to do.
And, Obama made the big speech yesterday, and we're in this war thing going on, and, and all the stuff that's happened over the 7 years.
It's a long time.
I wonder what kind of a world it would be had we had a Republican president.
Wouldn't it be something if there was a way to do that?
And then you could choose.
Choose your own adventure. You go, well, okay.
We can go down that road or we can go down that road, and we know for sure exactly what it's going to be like 8 years down the road.
I mean, it was just like what we were talking about yesterday with Nostradamus and his quatrains. And
Yes.
there are people now that are trying to interpret his quatrains for current and future events.
Sure,
but
absolutely.
you can't do it. They're so abstract that only when you go back, and often with a little bit of suspension of belief, do you go, oh,
you can apply it to
yeah, that really did talk about the Civil War.
Yeah.
Or something like that.
Or,
that would be.
Or the Civil War does apply to that statement.
I always thought about
Maybe.
it. Yeah, I know. I was thinking about that too. Because it would be great to say, well, here's how it would have been.
Yeah.
Or here's the correlation, the differences.
Yeah. It was just a strange thing, just a strange moment, a blurb.
5 hours until we head down to Las Vegas.
Clock's ticking.
And the big
I think
debate
the clock's
coming up.
ticking on those 4 guys that are going to be on earlier today. And I'm fearful, I just think it's time to cut the herd down.
They got to be just waiting.
They're all very fine individuals and
Sure.
probably very worthy men and women, but
Sure.
it's time to get focused. Come on. Let's get it down to 2 or 3 that we can really sink our teeth into and get to know.
Yeah.
You're listening to Daybreak with Jeff and Dale on KMAS News Radio. Here's a question that needles many of us this time of year. Which type of Christmas tree is best? Some help today from the Old Farmer's Almanac.
For P150, P150GA, P150OK, P150TN, C250A, C250E, C250Q. Not available in all states.
What's the scariest thing about going to the dentist? Opening your mouth or opening your wallet? Because just a simple cleaning can cost $100, and things like root canals can cost you hundreds more. If you don't have dental insurance to help, call Physicians Mutual Insurance Company. 1-800-893-4977. This isn't a discount plan or preventive-only coverage. This is real dental insurance that helps pay for checkups right away. So you can call today and get your teeth cleaned tomorrow. Plus, it helps cover the more expensive procedures you might need down the road. Fillings, crowns, bridges, even costly dentures. There's no deductible and no annual maximum. Your acceptance is guaranteed for one of these insurance policies, even if you're retired. There are no networks, so you can choose any dentist you'd like. Call in the next 10 minutes and we'll rush you a free information kit with all the details. 1-800-893-4977. That's 1-800-893-4977. 1-800-893-4977.
With more practical tips and useful advice, this is the Old Farmer's Almanac Radio Report for Tuesday, December 15th. It is the 349th day of the year, and comedian Tim Conway celebrates a birthday. If you haven't yet made the annual trip to the Christmas tree lot, here's some timely advice for choosing a tree that suits you best. If needle retention is a priority, you might prefer a fir. Douglas and Fraser firs are among the most popular trees each year. If you like dense foliage and firm branches, spruce is a good choice, though their needles can be especially prickly. Pine trees generally have softer needles with beautiful color and fragrance, but the branches are less sturdy and may droop with heavier ornaments. There's no such thing as the perfect tree, but if you're aware of the trade-offs, you just might find a tree that's a perfect fit for you. That is your Old Farmer's Almanac Radio Report. Learn more online at